go. Welcome to episode 9 of the OurTeam podcast. This is definitely the first time I'm saying this today, and I didn't just forget to record and we started again. But here we are, guys. Like, subscribe, all of that YouTuber stuff. Amazing lineup again today. We got Josh back. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm actually really excited with this episode. I'm looking at this lineup, and I feel like it's gonna be a really good conversation going on today. So I'm excited.
Yeah, 100%. Ludes, welcome back.
Oh yeah, it's I'm ready for this one as well. I'm just here to have a good time, man.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You just dropped some terrible news before we started.
Well, I mean, I was I guess my goal wasn't to destroy the vibe instantaneously, but look, I saw the report about Aaron Carter, and I had to blurt it out. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for that. Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, of course, anytime.
New co-host Matt Mojo. How you doing, bro?
Man, I am doing good, man. It is good to be amongst all these goats, man. I'm gonna tell you, I'm just excited to be on the pod. It's going down.
Yeah, for sure.
So much cheerier than mine.
Yeah, you guys
just a tad.
So much jarring to hear you guys talk. We got CP the Doc back. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. It's good to be back. Ready to talk some MyTeam with y'all today.
Awesome. And we got Kevin Cruz finally. After a week, we got him on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me, man. And the weather's better this time. Appreciate you guys having me. I mean, as someone that's not in the MyTeam community and more on the gameplay side of things, I appreciate the perspective that you guys bring. So appreciate y'all. Thanks for having me, man.
It is. I'm going to touch on what Josh said. This is a super, super interesting lineup. Like, if you actually look at the spectrum we've got, like, we've got pack gods, we've got hardcore grinders, we've got people that are new to the game. We got someone taking scalps in big comp tournaments as well. All of a sudden, I don't know where that's. Should we talk about that first, Josh?
Yeah, I think we could touch. I think we could touch on that a little bit. I played in Splash's his Player Lounge tournament that he does like every Wednesday. Well, let me not say it's his. It's from Player Lounge, but like they use his name to like kind of get clicks. And honestly, when I play in those tournaments, I always get a bad first. Like I'm always in the bracket I'm in. It's just straight sweats. It's to be expected. But this time, I literally played like 250K qualifiers back to back. And I don't know, like I didn't stream it this time, and I wasn't like I was locked in for sure, but it was like a different kind of lock. It was kind of like a just more calm and just it was fun. Like I enjoyed playing that like to that level. And I actually played a lot better than I thought I had in me. So, it was really good to, beat two guys who was qualified for
It was kind of nuts, man. You did the podcast proud, bro. Like we come on it. By the way, guys, you could probably hear like what sounds like artillery going on in the background. It's fireworks, right? It's Guy Fawkes night in the UK. So basically for the next 7 hours, it's just non-stop fireworks. I'm going to keep muted. Hopefully it doesn't interfere too much. But yeah, you can probably hear it. I don't really know what to do about it. Yeah, Josh is kind of cool, man. We got like our own baby sweat now on the podcast.
Were you using Tatum?
Nah, that's the thing. Tatum's out the lineup.
I think that's what
he was using though? Lance.
Yeah. Oh my!
You know that. Lance was in the starting lineup hooping. He was hooping. But I will say my most valuable player that day, and I don't know. I don't hear too much people talk about him. Michael Porter Jr. is honestly slept on. Like I use him at the 4. A lot of people use him at the 3 and probably try to use him like off the dribble. He's good enough to be a pick and pop, and he's like he can dribble the ball enough to where like you kick it out to him on a pop, he'll drive, take you to the lane. So it's like I feel like he's a slept on card. And it's not only on the offensive end, on the defensive end, gets a lot of stops, like on cards like a KG, gets rebounds when you need them. So I think he was like my most valuable player that weekend.
I feel like a lot of people see like a card that's 6'10" that can play the small forward and just automatically like, yep, has to play the small forward. I can't play him at power forward because I need the mismatch. But most of the time, it's probably not even advisable to play him at small forward.
Yeah, I like playing cards in their positions. Like if you play cards in their positions, I feel like I don't know. That's how I try to look at them. Like, let me start playing cards at their actual position, and like I feel like I get more out of them. Like I was really surprised. Like I thought about putting him at the 3, but at the 4, I think he's doing the best, and I see why he's good at the 4. Like it's a lot of mismatches, more than you would think. Like you probably go against a big 4 with Michael Porter Jr. and think, oh shoot, we about to get mashed. Nah, he's gonna hold his ground. Like he's gonna hold his ground, get you some stops, and like I can't stress enough the amount of offensive rebounds this card gets. Like 4 other players on the other team, and he's snagging, and I go up every time. So I definitely love that card, man.
You know, Josh is excited when he bangs the table at the end of every sentence. Every sentence is punctuated. No, it's good. Right, guys, we're going to talk about content first this week because most weeks we never end up talking about it because we get so distracted with everything else that we do 3 minutes on it at the end. So, has anyone got Tim Thomas? That's my question.
Right here.
Of
You
All
course.
didn't even need to
Of
ask
course.
that question.
Come
You
on,
knew the
man.
answer.
Did you just pull your fourth DeMar DeRozan?
Fourth. That's correct.
You
Number
must be
4.
swimming in MT right now.
I listen, I have actually rebuilt my team, so I'm like sitting around 3 mil, but I can say this. After the fourth one, I said, yep, I'm done. I don't even want to test my luck no more, man. Listen, I'll say this. I don't know how I pulled the first one, but it just came all of a sudden on stream. I didn't think I was going to pull anything. The odds to me seemed like they was just nil. They was just not there, but it happened. And Josh, I'm going to be honest with you, man. I'm glad that I locked in for that Tim Thomas. When you got a card like him, not Tim Thomas, him Thomas that has Michael Jordan dribble six, like the best dribble six in the game in Park and in my team, you can't beat that. So you can run him at the 3. Plus he has 8 Hoff badges, quick first step, so he can just blow by. I think he has Hoff Clamberg here. I'm not for certain, but man, he is so good. Literally probably the best card in the game. Him and Hakeem to me are amazing. But at the 3, 4, hell, you could put him at the 1. He's going to be great. If you could put him at the 1, you feel.
Yeah, I was looking. I actually tried to pull him. Like I opened about 900K in MT and packs, and the best pull I got was DeJounte Murray. I wasn't. I was a little sick because I'm like, I want at least 1 pink diamond, even
I'd
if it's
be
not.
tight.
You know,
Soul
I was a
crushing.
little sick. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm like, I
I'd
could
be
have
tight.
just bought some new players, but you know, whatever. But I think I got so many Kelly Oubre's was sitting in my auction, and I ended up selling them back, and I think I had about 80K. So I went and bought Jared Allen, so he's sitting on my bench, and I actually have I have DeJounte Murray on the bench, and he's a card that I like. I looked at him
He's nice.
when they first announced him, and I was like, you know what? Let me give this card a run. I'm still not certain on if he stays or not because I haven't played enough games with him, but I think his jump shot is pretty solid. It just looks very weird, and I got to see what he's like on the defensive end.
Yeah, DeJounte Murray is a really solid card. I mean, he has Hoff quick first step as well. He wasn't going for 50, almost 60K for no reason last night on Xbox. I'll tell you a card that I really like, and a lot of people are like, what? And that's Duncan Robinson. Not because he went to the University of Michigan, but he is just a stud. If you all, CP the Doc remembers the Gauntlet Spotlights, where you had to beat the Invincibles. Every year, Duncan Robinson is my personal MVP. He hit those corner threes. I mean, if you use quick point 2, anybody in here knows about the Magic Playbook, bronze, baby. It won me those games. And I love Duncan for that. And I've always used him. He's such a clutch shooter, Josh.
I love
he had
his
a beast of a Sapphire card.
Yeah, I was just gonna say his Sapphire card
Yeah.
it was
heat
good.
last
Oh,
year.
the glitch one, right? The glitch
Yeah.
one. No, yeah, facts. Yeah, it was good. I actually like his jump shot this year. I was using it on stream when I was doing some XP. I actually don't even grind XP, but I thought, let me just grind some today. And like his jump shot, I like it. Like it's a fast jump shot, and I like the way like he kind of pulls forward when he shoots. It's weird. Like it took me probably like 3-4 shots to kind of get locked in with jump shot. I think the jump shot's pretty smooth this year. I can see why you would like that card. I think it's gonna be a really good card for like limited.
He plays surprisingly decent defense too. Like it's not overwhelming. He's not like playing Danny Green levels of defense, but he plays like pretty competent defense for it being Duncan Robinson, who like the Heat don't even play in the playoffs due to his lack of defense. Period.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Sorry, I'm just like completely spun out.
Are you still?
That was like right next to my window. It was a big one. Yeah. Duncan Robinson seems to have a good like budget card every year early.
Oubre's good too. Oubre's pretty. His jump shot. You know how previous years
solid.
you'd have like a super baited jump shot. Not the case this year. It's actually a pretty decent. Like it's not like that. What was it? You know how they had the what was it called, those bases when it would what's the name of them I'm trying to use? Remember how like they had those bases that were so like baited every year? I forgot what they were called. The
set shot.
Set shots, yes. So you know how normally he would have a set shot base. Now this year it's actually a clean jump shot. And this kind of way I thought it was funny how he's actually the shooting guard small forward and Duncan Robinson's a small forward shooting guard. I'm like, isn't that the other way around? I could have sworn Kelly Oubre starts at the 3, but
It is the other way around. He does have a duo with Beal too, and it's actually like a pretty good duo if you use Beal. Beal's actually kind of slept on. I think Beal's a lot better than people give him credit for, especially with that duo with Oubre. Unfortunately, due to the duo, Beal has gone from being 19, 20,000 to 50. So it's not really like a budget duo anymore, but if he ever comes back down in price in the near future, like he's definitely worth picking up at that point for sure.
What is the duo boost? Because why did his price shoot up like that?
So Oubre doesn't really get a massive boost. He gets a couple Hoff badges. He gets some extra finishing badges. He gets like Silver Bully and Giant Slayer and stuff like that. But Bradley Beal ends up getting 6 additional Hoff badges. So he ends up getting like Claymore, Corner Specialist, Slippery, Space Creator, Giant Slayer, and Ankle Breaker, and then additional golds and stuff like that as well too. So he turns into a better finisher, and he's a little bit faster.
That's solid.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And Beal is really solid. He was my 2 guard for a while during season 1, like after he came out.
Who are you running like in the backcourt with him? Like what kind of point guard?
I was running Sean Livingston.
Okay, yeah, you have to run a defensive point guard with somebody like that.
Yeah, I was running big body Sean Livingston and just doing DBG post up the point guard things every single possession, being extra
back cuts too. You said
absolutely 100%.
Well, what do we think 2K are saying here by releasing Tim Thomas at this stage in the game? I mean, because that card is cracked.
Yeah, they're saying instantaneously, they're like, yeah, you thought trophy cases were number 1? Wrong.
Yeah, I've seen that Tim Thomas card. Mm-hmm. The way he moves, I'm a little kind of like, normally we get cards like this and, some sweats or comp players get them. I'm like, I'm not going to have too much problem guarding that card. I can just throw this person on them. I'm a little worried about who I'm going to put on the ball because Lance has to get the point guard, but I don't know if I can even trust Scotty with that assignment. Like, I don't think I can trust Scottie Pippen with that assignment. So I got to find another lock on my team ASAP because I'm just not about to get by from him, Thomas.
Did you get Rodman?
No,
I didn't get him. I'm actually trying to go for.
I got Rodman from TTO.
How is him defensively?
Defensively, he's just not going to run like offensively, and he just can't do anything offensively, like nothing. Yeah, I mean, he's just not going to run. Defensively, he's fine. Like he actually grabs boards, which is a good thing in this game with this meta. I mean, you can't understate that, especially at small forward. But yeah, he's not going to run over. Who are my small forwards? I've got Worthy, I've got Pippen, I've got Scotty, I've got Wiggins. I said Pippen and Scotty. That's the same person. Anyway, I've got a lot of small forwards. So
Worthy is probably your best bet, unfortunately.
Yeah. In fact, let's kick this off. Before I say what I'm about to say, like Kevin, what's your squad right now? You've just got into my team, right? Who are you running?
Well, I'm gonna make Josh upset because I did the challenge packs and I got DeJounte Murray from it. 2K's blessing me with that RNG right now. RNG.
That's not gonna make Josh angry. He loves that. Yeah.
No, yeah. So right now I'm trying to do everything I can just to get Devin Booker. Just because if you know anything from my gameplay, I love Devin Booker's size up escape pack. I mean, his escape jumper package. So that's what I'm gonna center my team around. I also got Ron Artest from the Halloween packs, I think, and then I was previously running
the diamond
from the diamond one. So since I'm starting out, 2K is kind of blessing me and giving me that dopamine hit from getting all these diamonds out of the packs.
Dopamine is crazy.
Yeah, right now, yeah.
But you and Devin Booker, I can't get to see that.
Yeah. So I'm hoping to get Booker, and I'm trying to make my way through some trophy case packs. But right now, I'm all about the XP grind. Haven't played anything yet. Just trying to build my squad up. But I got Caruso, I got DeJounte Murray. I got Ron Artest and Ben Wallace from the what's that board? Yeah, the Ascension board. So I'm probably gonna run clutch time first, grind that out, get some centerpiece stuff, and work my way through the trophy case, man. But yeah, that Tim Thomas card is insane. I saw some of the SIGs from some of the guys pushing it out. Man, I think he's got Steve Francis size up.
Yeah.
Which Richard Jefferson got last year, and with the speed boosts you can get out of that with the attacking size ups, man, that's gonna be a tough card to guard on ball if they know what they're doing. But most of the people will probably at 6'10" when you got the speed boost and then they just hit you with the leaners and the fades, man, that's gonna be a tough card, man.
Yeah, for sure. CP, what are you grinding right now? What's your I'm gonna ask everyone this question. What's your focal point right now? Like, what's the next thing you want to achieve in the game?
Honestly, that's tough. I mean, this season, believe it or not, I've been taking everything like a bit slower so far. I haven't gotten any of the really big takeover cards yet, but I definitely want to get this Eddie Jones. He looks like a beast. So I already finished Unlimited. I think I'm probably going to finish TTO next, and then I'll start doing some of the tedious offline stuff.
That's a super interesting response, because it leads me on to what I was going to say. Does everyone feel like Trophy Case is suddenly taking a back seat?
Yeah, I feel like it's pointless at this point.
Like it has.
I mean, honestly, like Dr. J looks pretty good. Until they touch up Larry Bird, I don't think Larry Bird is really looking that great at this point. Not to say they're pointless. I mean, obviously they're providing you with very, very solid cards. And in certain cases, I would say top 5 cards. Like Clyde Drexler is absolutely a top 5 shooting guard, no question about it. But I just feel like the luster has kind of wore off on that. Like, I'm really close to getting Jimmy Butler. I'm behind pretty much everyone else, but I'm almost at Jimmy. And honestly, like, I don't even think I really want, it's not that I don't want Jimmy at this point, but like Eddie Jones looks better than Jimmy Butler to me at this point.
He really does.
That's crazy.
So it's like, it kind of just, necessarily like just destroyed my hype for getting Jimmy. And I'm actually really close now, but like now I want Eddie Jones, but unfortunately I just know that there's no way I'll be able to get him because I cannot do this in that amount of time. It's already been 2 days. It's been 1 day, but I haven't even like really gotten started on it. And so I don't think there's much of a hope for me getting Eddie Jones, but he does look fire. He's got that Jarrett Allen release too.
I hate that release. I picked up Jarrett Allen the other day just for limited. I actually sniped a 26k holo Jarrett Allen, which was a huge dub, by the way. I used it for one game, lost, and then that was a wrap. Like, it's one of the most overhyped cards this year. But the main point I was making is Trophy Case in particular, right? So I've got 8 Trophy Case cards, including Jimmy Butler, right? So 7 Pink Diamonds and Jimmy.
Right.
Even when I get to the point where I have like 10, 15, 20 Pink Diamonds, the only Pink Diamond that's making my squad right now is Worthy. Now, if I had Westbrook, he would run as well, but I don't. The only one that's making my squad right now is Worthy, and I'm choosing to run Alex Caruso over Derrick Rose.
100%. I do the same thing now.
I love Caruso.
Even at level 40, like, I'm running Wiggins. Pippen is out my team. Pippen's gone.
So Jazz, let me say this then. Okay, I feel this. What the pace of where 2K is going, I feel this. When opals start to drop, that's when some of these, actually, like all of these trophy cases will be an afterthought. I think that's when things is going to shift in a different. I think the Tim Thomas was the beginning of what we know as the end of possibly good pink diamonds. I think opals is about to pop off real soon here in about a week or two. I could be wrong. Does anybody have anything to say concerning that?
I've been saying it for like 2 weeks. I've been wrong consistently. I don't know. Being that he was a 96, it's possible that maybe they stretch it out a little bit before we get packable opals. But I've been saying pre-Black Friday we're going to get them for sure because the game's going to go on
season
sale.
3.
Yeah.
I think the level 40 reward is going to be insane. And I really think what I've noticed in the previous years is like, I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like season 1 is like a really good pink diamond. Season 2 is kind of like a mid pink diamond. Then season 3, that opal's good for like 2-3 months. And I want to base that off of like, especially 2K21. Like when we got Curry, we got Blake. Blake was cool. Like there's nothing wrong with Blake. But then like, I believe we got like a Wayne Embry. I think within the end of that season, it
was D Wade in season 3.
Yeah,
it was Wayne Embry at the end of season 2 from the vault. I'm pretty sure.
Season 2, right? So he kind of like, so people who didn't get Blake was like, okay, we got Wayne Embry, cool. Then when Dwayne Wade came out, I don't know about everybody else. I ran him on my team probably for like 2-3 months after he dropped. Like he was on my team he definitely had some longevity. So I think when we get this opal, we get this opal level 40, I think it's gonna be really, really good. So I'm excited to see that.
It could be, yeah. I just think for a while, Trophy Case cards have been like, they've been gradually overtaken by pack and takeover content, actually. Like, if you look at my squad, it's compiled mainly of those two things now. And I'm not really someone who, like, buys cards at the auction house. Like, I don't need to. Like, theoretically, I can run 10 pink diamonds. But we're at a point now, I think, with the meta, that it's really not in your interest to run some of these Trophy Case cards, no matter how good they might look on paper. A lot of them just aren't transferring to the game. Like Rip Hamilton's defense is just a huge issue. Rose's defense is a huge issue. Like, I would rather run Caruso, who's going to get me a stop in this meta, inside or outside, than run Rose and Torch like on the offense. I feel like the meta is actually making these cards, a lot of these cards, bordering on irrelevant.
Yes.
Very, very quickly.
I think the only trophy case players you can really run confidently at this point, if you're playing towards the meta, are probably Richard Jefferson, Russell Westbrook, and then Sabonis Ilgauskas. Like, other than that, I just feel like they're kind of just overtaken at this point. And we have been talking about this since the game came out in like Discord, and like honestly, the conversation that me and Jazz were having, this is pretty much lined up perfectly with like what's been going on. Like, I believe we even said like, oh yeah, somewhere in November, I think we'll start to see pack cards like overtake them. And here we are.
True. We did say that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I played JD crossover earlier. It's interesting that you say Big Z. I played JD crossover in a Clutch Time Online game. He won by 5, and he won because he just torched Big Z in transition. Absolutely torched him. It's like
that's the backdoor cut god. You know?
I mean, Big Z was still at the half court when Kareem had gone. Like, I feel like these cards are really starting to struggle now, and Jimmy's still best stock in the game. I'm not taking any card over him in that way, but. Yeah, I think the pink diamonds are struggling. But between, like I said, some of the sort of takeover cards we've got, some of the pack drops we've got, the Kareems, the Hakeems that have come along recently, and now we've got Tim Thomas, which is a huge signal of intent about where these cards are about to go. I mean, you compare any pink diamond small forward, even worthy, to Tim, and it's not close.
It's a shift. It's a shift in my team, and this is just shades of Terry Dishinger and shades of Danny Ferry right here, and it just makes me excited, but also brings up other questions like, who's going to counter the Tim Thomas? What are they going to bring out to counter that Tim Thomas? You know what I'm saying?
There's got to be some really good takeover player coming up, like on a Friday soon.
Yeah,
I'm looking at like tendencies now instead of like just the card color, because I was looking at who was it? So like Alex Caruso, for instance. A lot of like I don't see too many comp dudes run him, but like people recommend him as a good budget point guard. But I feel like that card plays way above like his weight. Because if you look at his tendencies, I feel like he could play on anybody's team and even start on anybody's team. Because what the meta is, it's like rim running, but also being able to stop that. And I can confidently put Alex Caruso in front of any rim runner in this game, and I know he's gonna give me a stop, slow them down, or just make it really hard for them to score. So that's something I'm starting to look at more and more now. So like when I look at players, like to play on my team, I want your on-ball steal tendencies to at least be a 75 and higher, and your block shot or shot contest tendencies to be at least a 75 or higher. Yeah. That way I know, like, all right, let's say I got to go here to, stop a pass. If he's about to shoot that card, I know if I put my my defensive settings on moderate, you're going to get a hand up. And like the shot may look open, but they're not going to get the open shot off every time. So that's something I'm starting to look at more and more with players. And that's how I'm like starting to choose my team like going forward. So it's not just necessarily the cards, but I look through and through before I even make a decision on the type of card I get.
Go ahead, Lutz.
Oh yeah. So I was going to ask, right? We talked about the takeover cards, are probably going to overtake Tim Thomas as being like the next overpowered one. What are some predictions on who that guy is going to be? My personal prediction, and I've been saying it all year, is Walt Bellamy. I don't know why.
Crazy.
2K loves to pick a random dude from the 60s and just turn them into the most dominant basketball player to ever exist. And Walt Bellamy, they finally got the rights for him, and I just feel like it's time. I don't know. That's just me. He's a 6'11" forward/center. So I'm not sure, but I'm positive they're gonna. Yeah, I'm thinking they're gonna like Wayne Embry him. I don't know, Matt. Who are you thinking?
There's two players in my personal thought right here, and maybe I'm wrong, but I'm biased. I'm biased because I love Bob Netalicki. I call him Nicolicki, y'all. I think he might be that guy, or bring back Wes Unseld. He was that dude. If you remember back in 21, the Spotlight Sims with him and Brandon Roy, how good they were, man. I think those two could be the elites, in my opinion. They could be the.
He's like 6'8", right?
Something like that. He's like 6'9",
6'7", yeah,
something like that.
How powerful with us GGs in this meta? Surely,
exactly. I'm sure they're going to give him speed.
It's going to get posted up every possession. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where we're going to go with this. Like we're definitely at a change. This week has been a change. To drop that Tim Thomas card is unexpected.
I
know
just
we
love
said
that it's
there'd be a
Tim
power creep.
Thomas.
Yeah, that
I
is
just love
crazy
that
as
it's
well.
Tim Thomas. I grew up watching Tim Thomas. He was like one of those guys that could just never put it together. He was always there. Him and
Yeah.
Kurt Thomas. Shout out to Kurt Thomas. That was my boy
Yeah.
too. Also, Tim Thomas used to wear 2 headbands at the same time.
Two
which is,
headbands,
like
yeah.
elite. So sick.
That's Milwaukee era Tim Thomas right there.
Nah,
I
I
wanna-
want but
Go ahead, brother.
cards, I don't know who's gonna come out to really like. I couldn't even think of any NBA player that would come out. I'm still like kind of like in terms of like outside of takeover cards. I feel like they kind of try to get the cards that's like a sleeper card to kind of like be able to stop like one of the new cards that came out. You know what I mean? Like let's say we get like a really good guard, they'll throw like a takeover card in there, like, oh no, he's a good option, but like, you know, you might want to use him to stop this player. So I think when we get Giannis in packs, I think that's when we'll get like a
Craig
super
Oster tag.
Oh, he's just not coming.
Greg Oster
I don't know how to
tag,
tell you.
bro.
He's just not coming to my team. Not coming to
When
my
are we,
team. Higher
when
than
are we
the
getting that Giannis?
Frank
People are calling
Rikowski.
it every week. When
Everyone
does
said,
he
"Oh
actually
yeah,
come out?
Giannis this week. Giannis this week." I think we're seeing a Paul George before we see a Giannis. And honestly,
I'm surprised we haven't seen one yet. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
me
really
too.
want to
This
see
week.
Paul George. I do want to see a Paul, especially in this meta, because like I don't. Shout out to Kevin Cruz once again. Paul George could dribble the ball. Paul George, if you use
Absolutely.
him, yo, he can dribble the ball. Like his sigs, and like it reminds you of Paul George in real life, a 6'9", 6'8" guard. That could, you know, he's shifty. He could, oh my God. You think Tim Thomas is good? Man, when we get a Paul George, and if they keep like his sigs the same, oh man, it's over. I'm calling the isolation every time. Taking the screen, going to the basket, step backs, all of that.
It's surprising that there are some big names that we haven't got yet, right? Kobe, we haven't got yet. There's no KDs, right? Either.
KD's gonna be good too.
There's no Giannis. I mean, we're like a couple of months in now. It's actually genuinely
Well,
surprising.
Tim Thomas is the beginning of the official power creep, right? They do this
Mhm.
every year. Every year we get one card that's so cracked out that everyone starts freaking out and spending all their currency. And then after that, for weeks on weeks after that, we get a card that's just as cracked. And I feel like Tim Thomas coming out is a signal that we're probably getting Durant, we're probably getting
Mhm.
Giannis, and we're probably getting Kobe in the near future.
Yeah, I
And
think
those are-
they have to bring a counter in, somebody to counter Tim Thomas. But I will say this, and you put this on record: Tim Thomas is worth 1.5 mil, but that DeMar DeRozan is not. I know that for certain. There ain't no card right now worth 1.5 million. It's crazy to me. I mean, let's face it. When I saw the prices in the auction house, I thought he was going to go for 500K. I know at the time I didn't think he was going to be a gatekeeper, but even still, DeRozan being 1.5, please. Anybody else feel the same?
You
Yeah,
bet
the
all
fact that
Kobe.
he's consistently 1.5, I think is what's driving me nuts. Like
Crazy.
having the first like 10, 15 go for that, I mean, is still a lot. And that's what we saw in 21, 20, you know, the first like 10, 15 of a card, you know, especially like a gatekeeper would usually go for like 1 to 1.5 million. But this year, I mean, it just seems like every pink diamond every week, whatever is the hyped card in the set is not only going for 1.5, you know, for the first few hours, like after they're up, but it seems like they're going for 1.5 for the first week that they're out. I mean, I think Garnett is still going for close to that now, like weeks after he came out.
KG is
Mhm.
still a beast. He's still power forward number one for me.
I'm looking to get him. Like I'm looking to get him. Soon.
Yeah.
I'm so interested to see how a front court of him and Mikhail are gonna run. I know just defensively, I'm just gonna be just so. Oh my God, man! Like first of all, Mikhail gets a lot of stops. So you pair him with like another big that could play just as good defense and shoot the ball. You are in for a very long game. And
Mikhail looks like a longshoreman. He shouldn't even be out there, but he hoops like
CP, what would you say to someone who's thinking of locking in for Tim?
I mean, I think if you have the MT, if you're willing to pull the packs, pull the trigger. Obviously, we're having all this talk about, you know, a Durant coming out or a Giannis to counter, but from my experiences playing versus Tim Thomas, if you know what to do with him, then you're going to be pretty unstoppable because of his dribbling. He has a fast shot. He can hit leaners. He's a beast. Of course, there's the discussion of how long is this card going to be as good as he is? Like, is he going to be this way for months and months, or is he going to fizzle out after weeks? I think this card is going to be pretty good for a while. So if you want to lock in, lock in. I mean, if you want to have the best possible team in the game, pull the trigger, because he probably is the best in the game right now.
My problem with that though is like a lot of people aim to have like these teams full of cards that they're to be like these really good cards from the other content creators, but it's like, are you really going to be go with that card yourself? That's something that really annoys me about this community.
That's a great point.
Try out cards that they like. They just like I don't care about who's saying this card can do this, that. Like, okay, I know Tim Thomas is good. Like, honestly, if I'd have pulled DeRozan, I probably would have locked in for him, tried him out. If I didn't like him, oh well, I'm stuck with the card. He's still a good card, you know. But I like to try cards out myself before I really buy on somebody's opinion. Like if somebody says, "Oh, this card's amazing, the best card in the game," you're saying that, and you play a certain way, but we don't play the exact same. So like that's why I think it's really important that these dudes who aren't just blindly following whatever content creator says, I think it's important that you guys go out and try cards yourself, because there might be somebody in that set that might fit your play style. Like if you're not trying to spend too much MT and you want a big shooting guard, go and try Kelly Oubre. He's solid. He's a solid card.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
He has some luscious hair too.
Luscious.
Yeah, like a Garnier Fructis commercial.
Lose.
Oh no, that's a win by Chaz Dean, man, for sure.
No, Josh, you're completely right though. I'm sorry, Jazz.
No, go ahead.
But no, from that point of view, I mean, you're 100% correct. If you're just going to paint match the entire game and rim run, then why get Tim Thomas? If you're actually going to, if you know how to dribble, if you know how to shoot, if you want a mismatch of that small forward position, go ahead and pick him up. But yeah, if you're just going to rim run and paint match and post up, you could do that with Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah, if you're gonna lock in 3 million MT, like not buy a card, if you're gonna lock in 3 million MT that you're not gonna get back, that's going to affect how you play this game. I mean, obviously, people get MT. I'm not going to say how, but it happens. Some people just don't care. They'll throw that away. But if you're someone who's playing this game legit, you know, that's a lot of MT to lock in November, you know, not knowing what's coming in the next 2 weeks. Because I've never locked in a card that I haven't regretted, apart from like endgame gods.
Oh, I have Chauncey Billups in 21. 100%.
I locked in for LeBron. No, for Thon Maker. I only did that. It was just a matter of like back in 20. It's like I was really trying to get LeBron, and I literally pulled everybody from the pack. And then I was like, okay, let me go get LeBron. I got LeBron, and I was like, oh, might as well lock in. Like I don't care if I get this MC. Like LeBron's never like he's not leaving my team, so I might as well lock in. The other players, they didn't have too much value, so I was like, all right, whatever. I wanted LeBron, I got him locked in. Used Thon Maker. Thon Maker played on my team rest of the year. But I just feel like a lot of these dudes, like I'm seeing people post Tim Thomas. I'm like, bro, you're not even gonna use him. You're just gonna put your head down, run to the rim, go up with 60% layups. You're not gonna shoot threes with him. Like, don't lock in that card.
Yeah. But see, the thing about Tim Thomas is that he is so good that it's effortless. Like you don't, if you know how to just use him just a smidge, just a little bit. I mean, and you make it look like God out there, make you look like July Glow just dribbling. But I'm so serious, it's unbelievable. But I want to say this though, with all the hoopla with Tim Thomas and everything, one thing that I saw and that I loved, and I got some snipes as well, was the Tim Thomas basically veered off and took a lot of light off the auction house, so you could get cards for very, very, very cheap. I got a 15 off James Harden for 530K MT, guys. And we all know that card probably went for 1.2, 1.3 mil easily.
That's a steal, bro. That is a freaking steal.
I posted on my Twitter, bro, and it was legit. I went all in, pushed all my little chips in, and I got them. I mean, I'm glad that chips. All my chips, everything,
all those zeros and chips, all those zeros and chips you got.
That amount of MT for a card just like sends shivers down my spine this year. Like I have pulled one pink diamond the entire year. Like spending 500K on a card. Oh man, I couldn't even do it. I'm out here running just the most budget squad of all time over here.
I need them, man.
What card from this set are you guys planning to use in limited? If you are planning to use any at all?
In limited?
Yeah, in limited.
You mentioned him earlier, probably? Josh, but I used Tsunami Poppy in limited.
You use him?
Yeah, I mean, I love his jump shot.
How was he doing? Did you get your ring yet? Or?
Oh yeah, I got my ring first game. I got super lucky with that. I feel like they fixed the odds because it's either been like 15, 20 games or like 1 or 2. The odds are just they're so weird.
This was the first week where I didn't get the ring inside like 3 or 4 games. Like, yeah, it took ages. I was going
How
crazy.
many games
this
did it
week.
take you?
A
I
lot.
didn't even load up.
I lost count. It was a lot. It
I
was
didn't even load
3
up.
hours probably of playing.
That's
Yeah.
terrible.
Honestly, once
It
I go
was-
past 5 wins and haven't got the ring, that's when I start like weighing, should I just quit playing in my head?
Same here. I'm like, when's it going to show up?
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
like, I don't know. Do I even need these takeover players? But now I have to commit because, and this is when my ring odds are going to be horrible because now I need Eddie Jones. So it's
Oh,
going
so
to
you
be
you got all the rings so far right now.
yeah. Oh yeah.
You gotta commit, Luz. You got to commit. Bro.
Oh no, man.
Gotta commit, man. You got this. You got the sweat, lose. You gotta
Guys,
activate.
I'm gonna give my first hot take of this podcast.
Ooh,
I
love
hate
it.
limited.
Oh.
I hate limited with a passion, guys. This game is just not built for limited. Like,
Is it the
freak
play style of the
animations.
people or like the sliders?
everyone's rim running. Every game just feels RNG. It feels like we load up, flip a coin, whoever gets the algo wins. I can't stand it.
That's because no one has a better team. No one has a better team than the other person. So the algo doesn't know what to do. That's my opinion anyway.
Clueless.
I feel like limited is so tight. Like I really hate the way dude's going there with a lot of nerve and ego, bro. Like I'm playing this dude, and like it's to the point where I have to restrain myself. Because one thing about me, I will go there with you if you start flash pausing me. Like I will go there with you. I will wait until I get that lead, and I'm getting on the mic and I'm barking like, yeah, flash pause again, flash pause again. So like I'm playing. It's the week. I think when we just got Jalen Brunson, I'm playing this dude. And I'm playing very calm. Like, you know, obviously, I'm trying to win. Everyone gets mad at me when I get in my settings and limited. And it's like, I'm not even trying to sweat you. I want this over as fast as possible because I know how bad this can get. So, like, I'm going to put settings on so my players play a certain way. All I hear is, yo, come on, bro, get out the settings. It's not that serious. It's limited. I'm like, bro, like, it's people like you. Like, you just, if I see John Morant in your lineup, or if I see Amethyst Michael Jordan, I know what kind of game this is going to be. And being that it's limited, you're gonna make 70s, 60s, and I have to mentally
every
and
possession.
physically prepare myself to go against that. Like, yo, it's so annoying, bro. Like, it is so, and like I'm in close games with dudes who have no business being on the sticks, bro. Like, I'm like, bro, what are you doing? And like, I had Franz Wagner out there, and he wasn't selling me, but like, he really couldn't get a stop. And this dude is just so hype. And then, like I keep saying this, I gotta take the YT out my name because everyone's.
You've literally been saying this for 3
I've
years.
been saying
You
this for
wanna
so
just
long.
do
I haven't done it yet. Like, I gotta do
Like,
it.
just
And
do it.
everyone's first reaction is, "Yeah, post that on YouTube." Like, I'm not about to post a clip on YouTube.
You haven't posted
of
on
you
YouTube
bashing.
for 10 days.
I haven't
There's
posted
no
in 10 days.
chance of it going up.
Like, I'm not about to post a clip on YouTube of you going up with set. No one wants to see.
Why'd
that.
you
I don't
do
wanna
him
see
like
that.
that?
Because I'm holding him accountable. That's why.
You know, I found out something yesterday that I didn't know, and maybe I'm just washed and I didn't know this was a thing. But apparently telling someone GG's after you win is like disrespectful now.
It is. It's kind of.
Yeah,
No
it's-
idea.
How you
People
win.
get tight.
It depends on how you win. too, how
That
much
sets
you
them
win.
off.
I say GG's after I lose all the time, so I didn't really think anything of it. I played somebody yesterday in limited. I'm not gonna say who it is because I'm not like, yo, I beat this dude. But like, I played a dude, a content creator yesterday in limited, and I won. And I was like, oh yeah, let me tell him good game. It was really cool to play him. And everyone's like, yo, do not do that. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, I can't say like that was a good time playing against them. They're like, nah, you have to wait until tomorrow.
Wow.
And I was like, what? That's a thing?
I'll
like,
name-
no.
I'll name drop him real quick. It was Grossi. Yeah, I know. I saw.
I was like,
About
what,
an hour
dude?
before that, something happened. That's why people were saying that. About an hour before, something happened on Twitch.
Oh, really?
Fit was streaming,
Okay.
and he lost his mind. He snapped. I haven't seen Fit snap many times, but yeah, he went.
Yeah, me either.
Someone beat him, and they came into his chat and said, "I think I just played you, GG's," and he just went. He was like, "If I'd beat you, would you have come in the chat and said GG's?" No.
I would have. That's the thing. That's just how I am, though.
No,
Like,
but
if I lost to him, I would have
so
jumped in his chat like, "Yo, GG's, good playing you, man. Hope you got the ring." Like, that's just how I am,
I
though.
hate when people do that though. Like, I know like it's not your intention. Well, I know not you lose, but like I would see somebody like literally, and I've seen this happen to Ty specifically all the time. He makes a no money spent video, and the dude is sweating they're sweating with every fiber in their being. And you know, Ty's obviously frustrated. It's like, I'm trying like you're trying to record a video and then someone's just sweat. It's hard to really commentate and focus. So I get that, but you're gonna come in my chat like, oh, GG's man, you're so tough, bro. Shut up, like, bro, like you can say GG's. Don't say you're so tough after you just tried 110% to beat me. Like, bro, that is so toxic to me. It's like, yo, bro, you would not have came in there if you won. If you lost this game, you would have not made it known that you were the person that you that just lost. So I feel like that's so like it's strange. I don't know why people do that. I don't know if they think they're gonna get caught off that, but like, yo, bro, relax.
I don't know. I feel like there are some genuinely nice people out there, but most of them are not. And then after I'm told this, I'm like looking through my Xbox messages and I'm like, man, all these people who told me good game after they beat me, they were trying to disrespect me. I thought they were just being nice, man.
I think
a reality check.
I think 80% of them were.
That was a huge reality check. I'm like,
yesterday.
damn. I'm like, this anime profile pic guy was actually being rude. Who would have thought?
I played.
No,
the guy
if
who
they
I
got
know.
the emoji, if they got a smiling emoji, that's when they know they're trying to rile you up, man. I get
That's
that a
it.
lot when, it's a
Yeah,
GG
when
smiling
their tag
face.
is
Yeah.
LOL in
Yeah.
the team name. Yeah. I played a guy yesterday who I know. He actually messaged me. It's funny. This guy messaged me at the start of the year on Twitter. Nice guy, by the way. No shade. Just preempting that. But yeah, he messaged me at the start of the year on Twitter, basically asking if he should get the game or not. And I basically said yes. I was like, he was asking if unlimited is rewarding. I was like, yeah, for sure. Then we ran into each other the other day. The guy's a sweat, like the highest level of sweat on our server. And he flashballs me about halfway through the second quarter. And when someone flashballs me, I rage instantly. Like it will every single time. It will get a toxic reaction out of me without fail. Now I'm keeping it in my mind. I know who this guy is, and he's a nice guy. But now I'm locked in. Now I'm set up. Now I'm playing. I won by 10. I think it was exactly 10. And I did go to his Twitter and say GG's.
It's those touches of of disrespect, man. We know when it's disrespect. Like Jazz, you know me, man. I would never flash pause anybody, right?
Yeah, I mean, I saw. Yeah, you got toxic as hell the other day on screen. I've never seen toxic Matt before. What was that about?
No,
That
it
was
is.
rough.
I can't stand it, man, because like as content creators, we automatically have a target on our back. Unfortunately, I mean, I've seen guys like, okay, for instance, CP the Doc, when he is on his grinds, and I mean when he's on his long grinds, you have people in here constantly stream sniping them. Same with me, you know what I'm saying? There's always those guys that try to low key get that, as Josh says, that clout. You know what I'm saying? Then we'll come in the chat and say GG. That makes anybody tight for real.
Yeah.
Matt,
I had just
think
got
it was the
stream-
worst.
I played
You
one of
go
my
ahead, Josh.
friends on stream the other day. My friend Nas, and I'm literally having a conversation with JD, not crossover gaming, on Twitter. And like me, like I was winning at one point. It was very casual. I'm talking. And normally when I play unlimited, anybody who comes to my streams, first of all, I'm not even known to be a good chat reader. But the fact that I'm playing unlimited and reading the chat alone is like, okay, I'm not live. I'm looking, and then now I'm getting double teamed. I'm in a press. And I'm like, hold up, JD, give me a second. Now I'm down my 3. I'm like, yo, Nas. Like I go in the party, I'm like, yo, bro, what are you doing? Like, I'm just trying to get my centerpiece, bro. I'm like, you're sweat, like, relax. I'm like, you start out the game, it was no press. I'm winning, now you start pressing me. He's like, bro, I'm trying to get my centerpiece. I'm like, bro, and like it's the fourth quarter, he's up 20. I'm trying to dribble it out, kill time. He's still double. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? You're getting your point. Stop. Just quit. I'm like, I'm not about to quit, bro. I need these points. I hate when that's why I don't even like streaming unlimited no more. Cause
Yeah, when you're not in the mood to sweat and someone sweats you, it's brutal. CP, what were you gonna say?
Oh no, I was just gonna bring up something Matt said. I think the stream snipers. I think the worst I've ever had it was when I wasn't even streaming 2K. It was like dead season at the end of 2K22, and I was streaming Fall Guys. I was getting about quadruple teamed every single time we kicked off a race. I would get surrounded by groups of 10 people, all grabbing me. I feel like I'm a pretty good Fall Guys player, but I just couldn't get wins because I was getting griefed heavy. Stream sniping in 2K. Stream sniping in 2K is definitely not as bad, but I will say, like, when you're trying to entertain a chat and also play the game and actually put on good gameplay, it takes a lot of practice. It's not easy.
No,
it's not easy at all.
I can't do it all.
That's why I just set myself up as being bad at the game immediately. No one's getting clout from beating me.
And then when you get wins, everyone's like, "Oh, you're a beast."
Yeah, I know. They're
Yeah.
like, "Whoa, dude, you're
It's a
actually
high
not
IQ
bad."
I've
And you're
said
like,
this for
nah,
years. Like,
you're
one
like,
of the
lucky.
worst things you could do as a content creator is label yourself as good at the game, because you're just setting
100%.
yourself up for absolute toxicity at some point down the line. Like, just be chill.
That community is toxic. As that comp community is. That if there's anything I've been noticing, especially this last week on Twitter, that community is toxic.
You're part of that community now. You're beating them.
I'm not. No, I'm
You
not
are
a part
toxic
of
as
it.
You've
well.
been
It does make sense.
grandfathered in. I'm
I
sorry to
don't
say.
no, I don't label myself as comp though. I don't label myself as comp. I just say I have like.
You finally found your people, Josh. You're in good company now.
Yeah, you won. You didn't mean to join, but you joined, unfortunately.
Bro, I swear, I just was being You know what? Like somebody I'm not gonna say who it was, a streamer that I played. He got upset when he lost, and he just said he's just a content creator, as if that was gonna hurt me. I'm like, yeah, I am.
I'll say who it is. I don't care.
Oh, okay, say it.
I'll say who it is, and I'll say what he said because it was funny. So he beat Wall, which is obviously a huge win for Josh. You know, beating such a high level, respected comp player. Wall didn't handle it particularly well and said that it felt like he got beat by Carlo.
Another qualifier.
Yeah, how is that disrespectful, by the way? Yeah, another qualifier.
Why is everyone sending shots at this man all the time? What does
Like
this
he didn't
dude
qualify.
do?
Do you want to know Carlo's the only person that big timed me when I asked him to come on the podcast?
Really?
What? He said he's got to lock in for 250k. I don't know what that means.
Gotta practice 24/7. That little 2-hour
Yo,
podcast.
shout out to Carlo, man.
He can't be
Shout out to
wasting his
Carlo.
time talking about my team.
I mean, Ty was on the podcast that week. I was like, surely Ty's got to lock in as well. Like, oh, I love that guy. I love Carlo. Yeah, Carlo, come on the podcast. It'll be
Yeah, come
it'll
on,
be
man.
good
We
vibes.
won't send no more strays. No more strays.
It's
Yeah.
not even us though. Like that
No, it
dude
wasn't- it
just
wasn't
sent a
us.
stray at him for no reason.
We want to give you a platform to get your revenge on everyone that's ever taken shots at you. That's our motivation right now. Kevin, I got a question for you, right? So you are like it's an interesting spot for you because you know the game really, really well, but you're just getting into MyTeam, right? Which is a super interesting perspective, especially for some of the conversations we've got coming up. I really want to hear your opinion on a lot of this stuff. But face value, what's your opinion on MyTeam as a whole? How are you settling into it? Do you find it enjoyable? What are the things you like, things you don't dislike? It's so rare that I don't think we're ever going to have someone on this podcast again who's just started playing the game. And to get that perspective would be priceless for us.
So I started in 22. I jumped in when they got Moments Jason Tatum in. And I was surprised at the amount of the grind that's needed to get something rewarding. I did like Jason Tatum, though. Ran with him for about 2 to 3 months. And in 23, I'm just starting to get into it now. And it's overwhelming. The trophy case stuff, I have no idea what I was doing at first. I was getting all these exchange rewards. And then I started watching Lud's videos, some Thai videos, and seeing that they were kind of essential to the game mode. Right now, as you said, it's about to change. But for me, and I'm like, it's difficult for me to start it now. I feel like I need to really get into figuring out what kind of squad I want to get. That's why I want to get Booker, who I know isn't very highly regarded in the community, just because they say he's a pretty mid card. But I need that step back package, man. And I'm playing MyTeam for just to showcase some of the elite moves of some of these cards. I think that's my focus mostly. I'm not into the grind can be heavy, man, and especially me. I focus on tutorials, and I can only play MyTeam about 1 hour or 2 hours a day at most if I'm trying to grind XP. But that's like the biggest barrier for me right now. It's like I gotta be all in on the mode, and because in my tutorials, all I get is, man, yeah, this looks good, but you can't do this online. And I'm getting it from both sides. I'm getting it from my career and from the MyTeam space. And my focus really is on MyTeam to show that I want to showcase some non-meta stuff. Like the conversation about Tim Thomas earlier was very interesting because I know 90% of the guys that get Tim Thomas are just going to rim run or pick and pop. But if you got Richard Jefferson last year, and Richard Jefferson has like the same dribble sigs as Tim Thomas, he was elite, man. I ran Richard Jefferson until end games came out, basically. And if you know what you're doing with that Steve Francis size up, you're gonna cook people. And then in Tim Thomas is 6'10", man. That's gonna be crazy. So my focus really is trying to get some of these cards with the unique SIGs. That's going to be my focus. Zach Levine is another guy that I really like. But really the barrier for me, man, is the trophy case grind. It's such a huge thing. I was watching Lud's video, and he had this point where he said, well, Lud said that if the rewards were a bit, if on your way to like your complete trophy set is more rewarding, like you get an Ami or a diamond on the way to the pink diamond, then it would be more rewarding. But right now, I'm just really I'm discouraged about that long grind, man. I'm not like CP. The CP, I have respect for CP and all the grind that he does. But man, for me, for example, man, I can't really get into it too much. But just that's my perspective, man. Right now, the grind is a bit too heavy. I got 80,000 MT, and I barely can get a budget squad out of that. But yeah, I like the mode. I mean, as much of a grind as it is, it's super fun. It's mentally taxing though, because there's a certain play style that I play with. And when I get 90% of the guys playing me, like Josh said, they're trying to sweat you out. And that's why I don't want a logo at some point. Now, people telling me you should get a logo. But all that does is like people are going to target you, and they're going to try and tweak you out. But I just want to hop in for fun, just casually play my team, just to showcase some of the SIG, some of the stuff that I do online. But that grind is tough, man. That grind is tough for me right now.
That's a really interesting perspective. Like, that's something I always talk about. Like, so every time somebody will come in my stream and they ask, like, who should they look to? Or, like, because somebody came in my stream the other day, asked me, they're trying to learn dribble SIGs. I said, you are at the wrong place. I am not the guy. I told them to watch your videos. I feel like you're, like, for somebody who's new to MyTeam or just new to 2K in general, like, a good place to start is definitely with your videos. Because it's like, I like the fact that you don't show them in the meta. Because, like, a lot of times, this is no shade to nobody, but you see a lot of like videos like dribble glitch tutorial, how to do the spin, like cool. Like, I guess for some people who want to be good at the game, I guess that's fine. But I feel like with your tutorials, you can show them how to be good at the game and have fun at the same time. So I feel like that's something I always just loved about your content. And I feel like it's something that more people should try to lean to, because it's like everybody's trying to be the same exact player. And I'll say this, I feel like, don't get me wrong, like comp is hard to compete, but at the same time, you know what to expect. You know how dudes are gonna play. Like you know. So like I struggle more against somebody who's slowing it down. They're running plays. I'm like, wait, what are you doing? You're not trying to come off the screen and shoot. You're not trying to run to the like. So somebody who slows it down, and like I was playing this dude today, like I really had to lock in because I'm guarding. I leave the CPU to guard the ball. He's doing spin jumpers and greening them. I'm like, all right, we not about to watch this. Like, so like it's harder to stop somebody who plays non-meta because you don't know what you're getting with them. So I feel like a lot more people should try to implement that style of play into their game.
Showing people how to do a quote unquote meta dribble move or just a meta animation in general, and then at the same time, if you explain when you're actually supposed to be using that, those are two very different things. You can teach anyone how to do a certain move, but you really have to show them like when is it applicable for the most part.
Right.
Outside of the Curry slide in 21, there really hasn't been any specific dribble moves that are applicable in every single situation. So
I think shooting off the trioscape last year was
more. Oh yeah, no, that was stupid. I forgot about that.
Like you would just get the space to pull it every time.
when KD drops, when KD drops, that KD fade is gonna kill the game. That KD fade is tough. I think when you get that KD fade, just the distance and the height of the release, that's gonna be unstoppable. And you're gonna see 90% of the guys trying to get KD, use his escape package, and then get into that fade. That's gonna be unguardable. Those are the types of moves that 99% of the guys you face online are gonna do those stuff. And it's mentally taxing, man. I gotta say, one reason why I don't want to go online as much is because I've tried it. I've tried to play like 99% of the guys online, and I'm going to get success 100% of the time. But I want to try to show that there's a different way, because I know, and Josh talked about this in one of his videos, man. The comp guys do what they need to do. Like I respect it. It's a different style of play, but it's changed the way 2K has been playing, man. For some reason, Chris Move uploaded his 2014 MyTeam videos. And if you watch that versus what you see in MyTeam the past few years, it's a completely different game, man. Speed boosting wasn't such a huge thing. You could sort of see basketball the way it's played. And that's what I want to hopefully try to do. I don't know how successful I'll get because I know that the play style is pretty embedded, but just to show a different side of the game. That's what I'm trying to do with my team. It's gonna be tough because I don't spend money on packs, but so hopefully if we get some good grinds, that can be rewarding to show that the game can be won. If you're non-meta or non-comp play style, that's hopefully what I'm trying to do.
It's interesting you say that because there is like I don't think you're specifically involved in this. I think you're just kind of doing your own thing, but there is definitely like on Twitter comp versus sim nation kind of almost rivalry that just kind of sits there all the time, and it can get quite toxic. There's a lot of subtweeting, all of this stuff that goes on. Like, if you had to explain what sim nation are trying to achieve, like, is it trying to help you get better at the game, enjoy the game, win the game? Like, what would you describe it as? Because I've seen it tagged everywhere. Obviously, I know people like RTA, who's going to be in the podcast soon, and a few other guys that kind of play that way. But from your perspective, like, what is this whole sim nation movement trying to achieve?
But for me, just playing 2K like you're playing basketball. That's the simplest thing for me. That's why most of my tutorials have showcased animations that replicate real NBA players. I've shown some online gameplay in the past where I've shown that, you can win using these types of moves. Like, I've shown how to use freelances and some advanced basketball techniques, like these nerdy stuff like ghost screens, ram action, Chicago action, that stuff. So it's trying to play the game just like you're replicating basketball. And that sounds like it's weird for me to say that because it's a basketball game, but 2K really is two different games, man. I compare it this way. Sometimes, if you've seen Dagestani basketball, that's how I see my team sometimes, or my career, or the park space or the rec space. I've seen some guys bragging that they can do an unlimited double dribble move just to get to the basket in park in 22. And I'm like, yo, why are you doing this? Yeah, you win, but you're not playing basketball, man. And I'm not saying that everyone's got to play it that way. I mean, I used to be that way when I was much younger, man. You're not sim. You suck at the game. You're using exploits. But now I'm more relaxed. I'm like, yeah, you play the way you want. Just don't be a toxic dude, man. Like, the pause flashing thing, man, that resonates with me because I got a guy that did that to me so many times, and I got so pissed. I hit a 4-pointer with Zach LaVine on him at the buzzer in clutch time, and I was in his chat like I've never been before. Man, I'm 35 years old. I'm not a toxic guy. I'm 35. I think I got a respected career. I got a name to uphold, but this guy, and I'll share
that. He's like in his chat trolling him, then puts on a suit and goes to an economics meeting. Like, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. But yeah, it's just basically playing the game the right way. Now, I'm not saying that if you don't play the way I played the game, then you suck. And sometimes that's where a lot of these conversations go wrong, man. If some of
the other guys do just put out that vibe. There is a like, people see a lot of the simulation stuff as elitist. That's what they see it as. Like, and it's why I wanted to get you on, because you're not that guy, like, at all.
I can see that.
Yeah.
My thing is play the game the way you want. Have fun with it. The thing that drives me away from the game is toxicity. Sim side or comp side, or if you're a casual guy, just have fun, man. Just be respectful, man.
I don't think they're playing to have fun anymore, though. I feel like dudes are really playing to, like, my thing is, like, I don't know when this happened with the community.
250.
I do know when it happened. I know when it started to, like, really rise. But, like, it's like everyone plays to win. But it's like, okay, cool. No one wants to play a game that they're losing. But it's like, are you playing to win because, like, this is the easiest way to win? And, like, are you even having fun? Like, some dudes would just play to win, not have fun, and just complain about the game. And it's like, bro, so why are you playing the game anymore? Like, you could just stop this style of play, because, like I said, I don't like playing that whole rim run and mashing. Like, I do like to run, like, I run. Shout out to RC. I had found out about this 5-out series. Yeah, so I found out about that. And for the most part, I use it because dudes, like, a lot of what I'm noticing now, a lot of dudes use moderate off ball. It leaves an open lane. But, like, if you pass to somebody who knows has a fast shot, because, like, a lot of times we try to run past somebody with moderate off ball, you're gonna get plucked a lot. If you
did you say earlier Ty's dropped his defensive tutorial?
Yeah, he did drop. Ty dropped the defensive videos. I'm like, damn, bro. Like,
it was the worst.
So I already know how limited.
Ty, could you just chill, bro?
Just chill.
Please, man. I didn't even finish Unlimited yet.
We love you, but chill. Like, March is good. Like,
I know you've been in my stream before. You watch me struggle on a regular basis. It's only going to get worse now.
Yeah, he raided you last week. Next time he raids you, he's just going to watch you suffer.
Yeah, shout out to him for that. I really would like to say that I'm really appreciative of that fact because I was mid spiral in the middle of it.
He threw a tantrum hard and then got raided by Ty. CP, Kevin's obviously new and he said he's like struggling with trophy case and all of that. You are a grinding machine. What would you tell him to do? Like, he's brand new. What would be your advice to him right now? What would you tell him to focus on?
I don't think this is a very good place to start, Jazz, because I honestly think the trophy case grind has gotten even harder, which is funny because they've added more centerpieces, but they've also, limited the amount of like elite franchise moments and stuff. Not to mention that we're seeing guys like, Kareem drop. We saw Hakeem Olajuwon drop earlier this week. We got Tim Thomas now, and we're also getting like Eddie Jones, Dennis Rodman, and running cards like, for example, Jordan Poole or Wally Serbiak. I'd much rather be running somebody like Danny Green. And I know you said you didn't like him earlier, Jazz, but I'm actually a big Jarrett Allen fan. I posted a video with him recently. I actually love his jump shot. I guess that's just preference. But like he runs. But like he's so much faster than Sabonis and Big Z and Mutombo and all those guys. He can shoot better. So he's my new starting center over Sabonis and Mutombo and all of them. But if you're going to start the trophy case grind, I think a good place to start is by just playing what you're comfortable with. You said you're just playing MyTeam to chill, which is a great thing, and you're pretty new to it. So, get a feel for it, get a feel for cards you enjoy using, go get that Devin Booker. And while you're grinding XP for Devin Booker, maybe do some of that in clutch time offline, triple threat offline, and you might as well go ahead and get that unlimited centerpiece. And the more you play unlimited, the more tokens you get. So you can possibly get those token centerpieces. If you got some friends to run with, run some co-op. I think getting the centerpiece is a good place to start. It's cool that they've made centerpieces more accessible, but it just sucks that these cards are really beginning to lose their value. So I kind of had to start by saying that the grind is just, I wouldn't say it's useless, because obviously getting cards like Anthony Davis and Clyde Drexler and eventually building your way to Dr. J, Duncan, Bird, there's obviously some merit and reward in that. But I mean, that Kareem's got an insanely fast first step and he can shoot. That Olajuwon might be the best center in the game right now. And even some budget guys like Oubre, Jarrett Allen I mentioned earlier, Caruso, those guys are starting to have more value than like Lance, like all those guys. They're starting to have more value than these pink diamonds
CP,
who dropped day one.
If I don't got intention of getting AD, let's say, or even like the Tim Duncans and Larry Birds are way out there, would you still recommend doing them? Like if I just want to get one or two pink diamonds, or probably not anymore at this point?
Oh, for sure. Oh, it really depends on the player, because honestly, when I first got Russell Westbrook, I got him because I'm a big fan of Russ. But it wasn't until I realized you could lock in the entire division that you can get Clyde Drexler. So getting Drexler was cool, but the only player in that entire division I really, really wanted to get was Westbrook. I mean, obviously Sabonis is great. I still run him off my bench. I'm a big fan of him too, but Serbiak, Hayward, there's one more player in that division, Mutombo. Those are guys who don't really see the court for me anymore. So if there's a player you like Derrick Rose, for example, he's another one of my all-time favorites. Go for him. Go for Westbrook. But man, guys like Jordan Poole, I'm trying to think of other like trophy case pink diamonds really, really starting to lose some value. Yeah, I mean, in those conferences, East and
he
West,
is on my lineup.
Rip
Hamilton
Hamilton,
is
for
on my
example.
lineup.
Yeah,
Hey,
I mean, I got Pager yesterday.
Bad.
I'm never going to use that card ever.
Why not,
I got
Jazz?
Richard, Allen Iverson, and I got Bargnani. None of those guys are playing.
Yeah, like those guys aren't going to run anymore. You might as well just go pick up, Kareem or Olajuwon or any of those guys. There's some really good centers in the game right now.
Let's not understate this. Westbrook is still Jesus. Like
he's a beast.
He's the man.
He's still my starting PG. He's been my PG for about 2 months now.
He's my biggest regret.
What's crazy about it is like you see how Westbrook and DeJounte Murray, surprisingly enough, have the same defensive interior rating.
Yeah,
surprisingly enough. So I don't know. A lot of dudes. That's why, like yesterday, I did say I'm not gonna get DeJounte Murray anymore because of his interior defense. But actually using him offensively, he's way better than I would expected. Like that half quick first step, you get that first step around your defender. I'm like, whoa! Like I dunked on who was it? And he doesn't even get crazy animations. I dunked on. I think I played a dude who had Garnett in the paint, and I have like the point guard riding his hip. throws it on them. I'm like, so where you play like that, DeJounte?
He has some
Then-
nice animations. Like, not as
And I
good as
looked at his
Westbrook,
tendencies.
but like they're still so good.
Yeah, I looked at his tendencies too, driving AD driving dunk tendency, and it made me think like, if you actually play towards these cards' offensive tendencies, would you like really like? I think the obvious answer is yes, but it's like, do people look at the game from that standpoint and think, all right, I got this card that has this tendency. Let me put him in this position to score, and like maybe some cards that like slept on might be way better if you just use them to like play towards those offensive tendencies.
I think
that's something
tendencies
I'm
are
gonna do.
with the meta this year. I think tendencies are everything. I
Yeah,
think
solitary
tendencies
animation
decide
makes sense,
people are
too.
going to cut effectively, whether they're going to get stopped, whether they're going to tip a steal or grab it, whether they're even going to be in that lane. I think tendencies are the most important thing about the game this year.
I think
'cause
that's something.
we were
I think that's
speaking
something
the
I'm
other
gonna
day.
study. I think that's something I'm gonna study now. Like within plays in my lineup, I'm like, all right, like let me see how I could put you in a position to where you can be more successful. Because there might be some cards on my who like there's some cards that they run like a Sean Kemp. Obviously, you know he has the drive and dunk. Maybe there's some shot tendencies he has that I don't know about that I could get more out of him. So I feel like there's more we could get out of our players if we really look into these tendencies. Like
I mean,
It's
there's
like
certain
Derek-
certain
Liz.
tendencies that are a lot more important than people would realize. Like last year, for instance, the shot 3 tendency, people thought it would just meant like when the CPU was actually controlling the player, like if they were going to shoot threes. What it also did was if you had a very low shot 3 tendency and a very high shot 3 rating and you were like a shooter. So a good example of this, not necessarily a really high rating, but Pink Diamond Westbrook last year, if somebody was off-balling you, the
they'd sag
CPU
off.
defender would not contest Westbrook. Like
Yeah.
they would not contest Westbrook because he had a 0 shot 3 tendency. So the tendencies actually do reflect on CPU defense as well. So if you have someone who can shoot or you can shoot with them and then they have a low tendency, chances are the CPU defender is not going to contest them consistently. So if you get one of those guys who just walls up the CPU as much as humanly possible, like there's a potential that it's not going to trigger the way that it normally would if you're running someone with a low like shot 3 or shot mid tendency.
wow, I never thought of that. That makes sense though. That
No, he's
actually makes
100% right.
Yeah.
I remember
Really
was
look
it
at
Marcus
tendencies.
Johnson? I think he was a TTO card last year.
Yeah.
But I ran him in clutch. He had an okay jumper, but it was very easy to green. Like it wasn't quick, but it didn't need to be. I literally ran him for the entire clutch time run that season because the CPU just kept leaving him open. And when I say open, I mean open. Like they would be under the
No,
hoop.
they
waiting
wouldn't
for
even put a
drive.
hand up, literally.
I would
The
just send him
CPU
to
would
the
do
corner.
the same thing for like, Simmons, Westbrook, all those guys.
Yeah.
Wow, that makes sense. Now I'm gonna start looking at these cards' tendencies, like not just the defensive ones. Like I'm gonna start looking at these cards' tendencies through and through.
And I mean, it
Wow.
goes deeper than that too. I mean, if they have like a low tendency at going up for layups with the left, like the CPU is not going to guard as intensely towards that as well. Like, so it goes a lot deeper than that. I mean, if you start really getting into it, it's not perfect. Like, it's not a perfect science by any means. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
It's still so cool though.
I think that's
It is,
amazing.
yes.
Though. I think that could give you some edge too when you play. Like, because a lot of dudes they don't really on ball you that much unless you just run the entire time. I don't even think even then they don't on ball you, but like
no, most of the people you
think
playing
they exploit
unlimited are
that.
going to hard off ball you pretty much the entire game. They're only going to switch over to contest. That's
I mean, if
basically
you're
it.
you
off
exploit
balling,
that.
you need your players to be able to get an on-ball steal if you're not controlling them, right? And this was the thing with Rose. Like, I've known basically since I got Rose that he just needs to go. Like, he will not get stopped. I've upgraded his badges. I've upgraded a ton of things on the card.
Yeah, I gave him
But
gold glove. He
until
still
his
doesn't get
tendencies
steals.
improve, he ain't getting a stop. Like, he just isn't going to get a stop, and he just had to go. Rose is done.
No, but Caruso will come out here and get 4 off-ball steals a game.
Exactly.
Like, it's not even a
Off-ball's crazy.
question.
and like in a press
Yeah.
too. If Crusoe's guarding the next pass away, the moment they throw that pass, is 9 times out of 10 it's a steal. Like Caruso gets his animation where like he'll stop right there for a second, and then he'll just put his hands up. Now it's a steal the other way. Or if like what I love too is like if I'm guarding the press on ball, let's say I'm guarding with Lance, and I'm sending them to Caruso. I don't even have to switch to Caruso. Caruso's already threw his hand out, plug other way. So I love that. I love the importance of tendencies this year. But I think
It's the
they're
headband.
definitely way more important.
Man,
It's the headband,
Cruz go.
It's the headband. Yeah.
and it's the Laker jersey. You know, No
It's
shade.
the receding hairline with the headband combo. It just makes him so much better and more methodical. At
I
stealing.
told y'all last podcast he's like the best point guard, but I want to say, guys, that alluding to what Ludes and Josh and pretty much everybody has said, man, you got to find out for yourself. This is my team, which means this is your team. I think it is important to dig deeper. It's not enough just to go see content creators gameplay and whatnot. It's deeper than that, and I'm glad that we're opening up this conversation, because even I right now am getting educated on this, that it's all about chemistry, and within chemistries there's certain formulas, and it's really psychological in the game. I hate to say it like this, but we have so much. Before I go to unlimited or limited, I gotta pray to God, and I have to put on some gospel literally just to get ready, okay, for a game. All right, because I know I'm about to face some real demons out here, and I mean there's some demons out here in these streets. With that being said, man, it's deeper than what we know, man. It is psychological, and we have to be educated. Guys like RCA that put up great content videos, my man Kevin CP has done it as well. Lutz, you guys are goated for it, because again, you're bringing out more than just what we see on the onset. It's deeper, and it's really like real basketball. As a former hooper, I can appreciate guys like CP and Kevin, you know what I'm saying, bringing out things that apply to real basketball. Like my man said, the zone is back. Well, the zone is really back, and it's real. My man Josh said this last week. The zone is really back, man, and it feels like real basketball, especially when I use it in a game. I think those things are very good right now with 2K.
Yeah, the composition of your team is more interesting than it's ever been. Like, I think now it's never been this interesting. It's never been close, to be honest. There's always been a kind of standard meta of cards, and then the budget cards that kind of fit in the meta, and that's what everyone's going to run.
All
It's
13
interesting
matter
because it's
too.
kind of flipped.
All
too,
13 matter.
Yeah,
all 13.
sure.
You can't just put you can if you want, but I don't run. Being that countries out the game, I run a full lineup. Like in those games when I played Wall and who I played? I played Anger. I'm not sure if it was Anger or Wall. There was a play where I had to bring in Larry Johnson. I purposely ran a small ball lineup. I avoided using Larry Johnson, but I didn't want to use Jokic no more, because like these guys, they like to press, they like to run, and I like to press too. That's the defense that was working for me. So I'm like, all right, let me get a lineup out there that could just run the floor. It was Lynn at the 1, Caruso at the 2, World Peace at the 4. At the 3. Larry Johnson at the 4, and Kemp at the 5. And that team played amazing for me. And normally I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't have like an extra 3 plays at the end of the bench. So I feel like now more than ever, it's really important that you not only run a lineup that works for you, but you have like situational players. Like, okay, in this game, I know I'm going to need you to do this. Come out here. Even if they don't play every game, and like most games, they don't need to play.
Yeah, just in
when
case.
You're in games like that, you need to call those players in. You need to call them up.
That's exactly right. I've literally had Amethyst Steph on the end of my bench since this game dropped, since the day this game dropped. Because if I need a 10-point swing at the end of the game, he's the guy who's going to get it for me. Like, I know he's going to get it. Yeah, he's literally just there for that reason. Go on, Luke.
I feel like last year, everyone ran pretty much the same team, but they all kind of played a little bit different. This year, it's flipped. Like, everyone has a different team, but they all play the exact same. That's how I feel anyway.
Yeah, I've always felt like whenever I go, especially last year, I feel like I had to adapt to other player settings and adapt to other players, play styles, because I just needed to. I've seen some crazy schemes this year and last year, but this year you really, really, really have to be on your P's, Q's. You have to dot your I's and cross those T's.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of strategy. Like, that's something I'm noticing too. A lot of strategy plays a role. That's why Jokic is out my lineup now, and the only way I could run a center who's that slow, you have to be a dog defensively. I don't need no more offense at my 5 too much, because I have that with my starting center. And then like off the bench, I'm looking to get a lot of stops, so that way the lead can be comfortable enough. So when my starters come back in with energy, we can run you off the court. That's how I like to play. So I feel like the only way I could run a center like that, you have to be a dog defensively. Like,
does anyone else still run Bol?
I haven't seen
no, but I think he's better than Garrett Allen.
I've seen him.
No, he's not better than Jared Allen.
May I ask, does anybody who in here run straight up 13-man lineups? Because I run on 10 or 11 man.
I run 13 man.
I run 13.
Well, it depends. I mean, 2K decides that I'm going to run a 13 because it never lets me put in the correct bench ever. So technically speaking, for a couple minutes in the game while I'm trying to get everything figured out, I'm running a 13-man lineup.
Yeah, you have to. Like, I've got those last 3 spots on my bench. are just as important as any other player in my team. Like, I will switch up my team depending on what's happening in the game. So I usually keep 2 quite strong defensive cards on the end of the bench and a rim running point guard. Rim running center. That's what I'll do. So if someone's hedging off me, I'll leave Big Z out there. But if they're guarding him, he's obviously too slow. I'll put Jermaine O'Neal in, and he'll just run them into the ground. Yeah, like having those options is important. Even like with your strategies, like I said, the half court press usually, like running a half court press with Rose and Rip versus running a half court press with Caruso and Jimmy is a 20-point swing.
So different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you guys like right now? I call mine the hell lineup because so mine was it kind of changed now, but mine was, like I said, Lynn, Caruso. So it's Wiggins at the 3, or it could be World Peace. If I really wanted to like run them off, I could have did Lynn, Caruso, World Peace, Wiggins, and then we throw Kemp at the 5. Like, what's your lineup when you just use for like strictly defense and pressing, like to get stops? What do you guys' 5 lineup if you have one?
I have to use Curry at all times, me personally, but defensively, Artest, Pink Diamond Artest runs the 2. Pippen still is relevant today. If you have Pippen and Jordan, even if you just have Pippen, I mean, he's just a stopper. I also like to use Moses Malone at the 4. He is one of the best. If you can lock in, if you can get him. And not now, but right now, because he's one of my favorite players. And then at the 5, no doubt, the best center in the game, Hakeem.
I like that. What about you, Luz? You have a lineup like that, or Jazz? You guys have a lineup like that?
I do not have a lineup like that. I mean, I run
You
Caruso.
said you made changes. What did you do?
So yeah, I got rid of Rose completely. Like Rose is out. I use Livingston and Caruso. I'm probably gonna pick up DeJounte just to run my bench, but I like posting people out with Livingston still. I got rid of Rip. Rip's out completely. I use Anthony Edwards and Lance now.
Yeah.
Pippin's still in. You guys hate on Pippin, but I still like him. He's still got a money jump shot for me.
It's so money.
Kemp and
so good.
Still here.
So
still use MPJ, Ilgauskas sometimes, and then Larry Johnson and Wiggins kind of switch off as well. I don't know. Just kind of.
How do you feel about MPJ? Are you like the card?
Yeah, I mean, I use him as a 3-and-D power forward. I mean, that's what he is essentially. He gets a lot of boards and he's big. I feel like he's really the only person at this point that I have that can like contest someone like Tim Thomas. Like at this point, that's basically all he's there for, because he's got the length to do it. Like Larry Johnson can't handle Tim Thomas. I'm sorry, he can't. You know what I mean? So that's why MPJ is there. Also, it's hollow, so that's why I have him.
You want to talk about your camp breaker theory?
Yes.
Wait.
Yeah.
CP, what's your lineup if you have one like that you run?
Man, so I've still been using Pippen too. Recently, I picked up James Worthy, and Sabonis, he's excellent guarding the post, but no, he's so slow. So I put in Jarrett Allen. I've been getting a lot of stops with him. At the 2, I start Drexler, but if I need a stop, I put in Iguodala. And at the 1, I think Russ is my main consistent PG I've been running basically the entire year. So I want to pick up a PG who can really lock up off the bench, because my backup right now is still Spada.
Yeah.
I think you should look into Caruso. I think you'd like him.
Spider's still starting for me.
I want to pick him up.
So
How much is Caruso going for?
I think around 20K.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
He might be up to 30 at the absolute most, but he's worth it for sure.
He's worth it.
That's still nothing though.
I think DeJounte would have tanked him a little bit, I reckon. So it might be cheaper.
Yeah, but his jump shot is really terrible. That's the only reason it hasn't.
You could run those 2 together, honestly. Like you could run DeJounte and Caruso together. You have a pretty solid backcourt right there. You got you could use DeJounte for offense and Caruso go get stops on the ball. You'll be fine.
Hey Kevin, who's your lineup, man, that you would choose?
So right now I got Caruso, I got DeJounte, I got all diamonds, Meta World Peace, Ben Wallace at the 5, I think is my biggest weakness right now. So I'm thinking of getting Jarrett Allen if I'm going to start grinding out these clutch time grinds. At the 4, I'm considering MPJ, but I got nothing at the 4 right now. That's
he's good.
That I'm running with.
He's a good pickup. Especially if you put him with somebody like a Jarrett Allen, you're gonna get a lot of boards and you're gonna get a lot of stops in the paint. Not surprising, you're gonna get a lot of stops in the paint.
Thanks.
I mean, Diamond.
But I'm really working on getting that Booker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to say this, Kevin, and I can't wait till you get Booker because I think, and I don't know who's hating on Pippen, Ludes, but let me tell you something. Pippen's still relevant.
Look.
Booker.
And two
hold
people
on,
in this podcast. What do you mean?
I'm right here.
I don't
Jazz
know.
is
for
raising
real.
his hand right now like he's about to answer a school question.
Listen. Pippen's still relevant, and he still starts for me. But I want to say this about Booker, level 40 Booker, and Pippen. I think it's a major dub from 2K implementing these duos because if you have Jerry Sloan and you can lock in for Mikal Bridges, that makes that Booker and Mikal crazy good. You give Booker, Kevin, I believe Hoff clamps once you pair him up with Mikal Bridges, which is such a dub. Same with Michael Jordan and Pippen.
You're running the duo, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, most definitely.
Yeah, that
Most
doesn't
Oh, Hoff Clams.
that doesn't count.
Interesting.
Pippen does not get me an on-ball steal ever.
He's better off the ball. I like him
He's
better.
going
like,
through some
off the ball.
emotional problems right now. He'll get back to being normal pretty
But
soon.
it's because
Give him a
because
break.
they gave him low tendencies too. But like I've noticed, once I took Pippen off the ball, he gets so much more steals. I was almost like confused because it's like, and I would like how when I don't know if you guys keep the player grades up for when like you use certain players.
Oh,
And,
absolutely.
like it tells you when badges activate. And I always keep that up. So like I would be playing and let's say Lance is guarding the ball, and then I see Hoff glove activate, and then Pippen has the ball. I say, wait a minute, when the so I guess like you send him on a drive. If you send him to that corner that Scottie Pippen is on, if he's on the ball, he ain't gonna reach for it. But off the ball, that meant you know what? It might be his help defense tendency.
He's significantly better at playing lanes than he is at getting on ball steals. For sure. And that's due to his tendencies.
For sure.
Now, interestingly,
especially getting the lane blocks, like coming off like to help and get blocked. He's definitely good at that.
Let's talk about Hoff clamps really quick. Because I want to talk about clamps in general.
I love this theory that I think you might be right. Let's see
I think I am too, personally.
If you're watching this, leave a comment where you reckon he's right.
Yeah, please jump in the comments or the live chat and tell me if you think I'm correct about this. But I think that the clamp breaker badge is actually so overpowered this year that it pretty much negates clamps, and it's actually better from a defensive standpoint to play a player without clamps because clamp breaker does not activate. Now that's my theory on it. Because when I play against CPU Steph will not get out of my way no matter what I do. Like, there is nothing I can do to get this person away from me. Like, he will stay in front of me the entire time. Yeah, I'm going to destroy him when we get down to the post anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But I've noticed he doesn't leave from the front of my player, no matter who it is. Like, even Derrick Rose, guys who are, traditionally good at getting to the rim. But I've noticed that when I play against someone who has clamps and I have either clamp breaker on the same level or higher, they can almost never stay in front of me. So I actually believe that the clamps badge is kind of broken this year. And it really just stems from clamp breaker being so overpowered that it negates clamps entirely. Almost.
I actually think with clamps though, clamps is more effective on moderate on ball because it gives you enough room to get a hand up and stay in front of them. I think what clamp breaker
doesn't engage at that distance. That makes sense.
I think clamp breaker only activates when you make contact. So I think clamp, like a Hoff clamps, is hell on moderate defensive settings. Because I noticed that when I put Lance only has it on gold, but I press people and I put Lance on the ball. He only has it on gold. I put him on a Rose or Westbrook. Okay, the only time they get the blow by is when they're in the paint. But because Lance has such high block tendency and shot contest tendency, it's almost always a stop or a block, and we get it the other way.
I mean, true, but you notice that the blow by always does occur when you're having that matchup. Like, I just feel like something's going on there. And I mean, I'd really have to look at 2K labs, which I haven't checked this theory out. I would like to specify that I have not done any labs on this theory whatsoever. This is just like a hypothesis I have that has not been tested in any way, shape, or form. But it just seems like that is the case this year. And it'd be interesting to see if we do receive a buff or a nerf on either of these badges at any point.
I have a video. I have a video on I have this one video where I show exactly this, how powerful clamp breaker is. If you get someone in a ride animation and you turbo pass them, you're going to disregard all that defense. Where I think Josh is right is that clamp breaker on moderate defense, you get the bump when they cut you off. But once you're in that ride animation, this is where clamp breaker takes over. And I think in the park space and also in the MyTeam space, man, if people realize how effective clamp breaker is, once you get in that ride animation, all you have to do is press turbo once and you will slide away from your defender. If you combine it with something like Slithery or Acrobat or Bully even, those combinations of badges are devastating. And you don't need to like always jam your way to a certain defender. If you hit them with a crossover, get them in a ride animation, and just sprint out of that ride animation, that's the power of Clamp Breaker. I think it's one of the most powerful badges in the game for sure. Regardless of whether you're a slasher, and Clamp Breaker also activates out of your spin shots or your different step back jumpers if you're in a contact animation. It's such a huge badge this year. I think not many people are hip to it yet, but once you figure out the ways in which Clamp Breaker activates, it kills the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, and with Mashing already overpowered, especially like on current gen, I'll play next gen, but with Mashing already being overpowered, it makes it even more crazier. I do want to say this, that with everything that's happening with my team, I think with every card that comes here in packs later, there's going to be a key badge for each one, and I think we're just going to build and build and build on those, you know what I'm saying, and hopefully that makes the gameplay better, in my opinion.
I think I'm noticing that too. Like, I'm starting to get a lot more blocks lately, and honestly, it's what I mean, because my team's improved defensively. Because before, I would try to just time a block with just anybody, and I get frustrated when I don't get the block. But if you actually build a team with intention and you go for blocks with players who have that tendency, have the right badges, you're gonna get stops. Like, there was a play, who was it? Caruso. He Derrick Rose beat him off the dribble. That's fine. Jumped up for the block, got the block, and like a lot of times with a card like a Westbrook or a Derrick Rose, they do a lot of tomahawks. So like that's when you really want to block them. But if you block it with players who have the block rating, you're gonna get that stop a lot of times. And like if you wall them up, and I feel like something else I noticed too, you gotta wall players up kind of like right outside of the box or the lane, and you're gonna get a good animation. You know that animation when players are like your drive is almost killed, and like instead of just going up, they just kind of stop where they're at and just throw up like a little hook shot almost because they're trying to drive to the lane. I notice I get that animation a lot with like good defenders.
Yeah, I had to learn this the hard way in Unlimited because, I mean, I got killed on it with going back to the defensive settings. I had to nix tight and go to moderate because whenever I played on tight, man, those backdoor cuts are lethal, and you learn the hard way. If you play tight on, you won't. There's no the separation, is none. So I now play on moderate. I'm glad you brought that up because now I can actually get those, those steals or play the lanes a little bit better.
Do you know what Ty said in his video? Has anyone seen it?
That.
Did he say moderate?
What the defensive settings
Moderate.
That what he said?
Moderate, yeah.
And literally what he was implementing, I've kind of implemented myself because I got my settings from Dill.
I was watching it while we were recording, to be honest.
Yeah.
Nice.
Shout out to Dill because he helped me with my settings. But what I noticed too is like there are certain players where you do have to put tight on, like a Melo, a Jason Tatum, a Benedict Mathurin. The guys with like fast releases, like Scotty, you do want to put off ball on tight because I'd rather them backdoor than them shoot threes. Because on moderate too, if you pass it to the right person, you can't get that shot off. Because 9 times people aren't really switching on ball or guarded. But then at the same time, if you have really good defenders on you, it's still not a good shot because they'll get their hand up because of their tendencies. So there's definitely a lot of thought that goes into it when you're building your team. Like something I'm learning more and more as I play the game.
I really do. I miss when no one did settings.
Yeah,
I really do.
Is there really? I'm gonna ask you guys something. Is there really a method to the madness or no?
What madness?
Yeah, that's literally that's the next topic. That was a 10 out of 10 transition, Mojo. Well done.
Wait, so are you talking about is there a method to the madness in relation to settings? Like, does it make a difference, or
not just in settings, but just in general, as Josh alluded to with building your team and everything that comes to it. There's so many variables to it.
Can I ask a question in a different way?
Go ahead.
Is there a skill gap?
Yes, yeah, there is. There really is. I mean, the skill. I don't know if it's necessarily a skill gap.
Yes and no.
It's just a matter of
your brain.
Yeah. Are you playing the meta or not? It's huge. Like right off the bat.
Exactly.
I think the skill gap doesn't come offensively. I think it comes defensively. Like if you could properly build it, like people call it, I'll call it this fluke stops. I'll say that fluke stops. People call it fluke stops because it doesn't work in their favor. But if you really think about it, the stops those players get, it really bored. Like I'll keep coming down to this tendencies. Like in my lineup compared to the dudes I played on Wednesday, no, like dudes had Jimmy Butler probably, or like at least I have no opals My highest plays are pink diamonds, but each pink diamond or diamond player on my team has certain tendencies that helps me get the stops that I do. I feel like the skill gap comes defensively and offensive. There is no skill gap because you can literally put your head down and run to the rim every time you get a basket if you want.
It depends how you want to look at it. All right. Because it depends who you ask realistically. Like if you ask certain people, they're going to say, especially if they're succeeding on the game, they're going to say, yeah, there's a skill gap, of course. If you ask people who are not succeeding, they're going to say, no, there's no skill gap. But I will say that when I played Grussy yesterday, right? Granted, it was limited. I'm not like hyping my win or anything. Like I'm not gassing it, but he's about 100 times better at this game than I am, right? But if you watch me play this game against him, all that happened was he had a bad shooting game. That's the only reason that I was able to win, right? And I think that's really when it comes down to people. You could say, oh, well, because of the shooting, if you have a bad shooting game, there is a skill gap. But I don't really think that's necessarily accurate because if someone you're playing against is just shooting off that game, you can just paint mash or rim run every single possession. You're going to win that game. And I think that's kind of where the skill gap kind of falls apart right there.
Trading 2s for 0s instead of 2s for 3s and you've won.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's literally it. And that's basically the only thing I was doing the entire time. Because I was like, yeah, I'm just going to rim run this whole time. Like,
CP, what's the skill gap?
Man, well, I think I agree with elements that both Ludez and Josh said because IQ, in my opinion, plays such a huge part into how you play. So offensively, yeah, you can just, put your head down, run to the rim and mash. But shooting is a skill. So, like, if you're able to hit threes consistently and you pair that with an insane slasher or great mashers, then you're going to be pretty unstoppable in offense. There's a level of IQ that comes to knowing the right time to send a backdoor cut so it doesn't get stolen. There's a level of IQ to, playing the post correctly and not getting backdoor cut. I think the IQ definitely plays a bigger factor on defense. And personally for me, I would definitely not consider myself an elite player by any means, but my record's like 30-something and 4. And really, I just run plays. I hit my threes. I hit my open shots because I just get a lot of open shots. And if you just know how to get stops and run in transition, find your open guys, and just be smart, from watching and playing basketball, like it just makes the game a lot easier. I'm not a dribble head by any means.
You use an interesting meta when you play. You use a lot of ball movement, didn't you? I've seen your
like
video.
the way you
I love passing the ball.
Yeah,
I absolutely love it.
You're definitely very patient. Like you're the reason. Like
patience is key.
Anthony Edwards made me like I was like, oh, I gotta get this card. Like you made him look so good. I believe it was one of your no money spent videos. You made him look so good. I said, oh yeah, I must put him back in the lineup now. Like. Yeah, I definitely like the way.
It's funny, me and Josh were playing co-op the other day, and we had like an epiphany on Josh's game. Like it was so transparent what was happening. Like we literally were arguing on his stream, like in real time, like shouting at each other because I was getting so frustrated with what he was doing in the game. So Josh would literally, there was a point where I set a screen for you, right? And you didn't like the screen, and you shot it. And then you were kicking off because the screen wasn't where you wanted it to. And my only response was there was 15 seconds left on the shot clock. Why did you not give me a chance to reset it? And it's interesting because Josh has been good at this game for a long, long time. I think the reason you're winning games now, especially against high-level players, is you've just added patience to your game. That's it.
I think that's definitely something.
I was watching you play at the beginning of the year. You were shooting with like 7 seconds into the shot clock.
Yeah, from the logo.
From the logo.
Every possession.
7 seconds or less, man. 7 seconds.
Yeah, you were literally living the 7 seconds or less. Like you took the mantra and you took it home all the way.
No, but like it's a very fundamental thing. Just crossing half court, letting your players get in their spots, letting a play develop, letting your guys get in positions to run around a screen. Dribbling out the clock a little bit. And when the chance is there, run in transition, find a shooter. If it's a 3-on-2, recognize that. If it's a 2-on-1, recognize that. Obviously, defense can be kind of janky, but if you're able to get stops and capitalize, that gives you a really big edge.
Yeah. I said this last week about, when I played Fat Bots, like, he was so patient. Like, first 7, 8, 9 seconds of the shot clock, he's just looking at what his players are doing. He's looking for tiny little movements. I saw it. Like I told you guys, I watched the game back. And you would see, like, one of my CPU players would just take a step 10 seconds. He's done nothing at this point, but he saw that step. He saw there's a cut there and he sent it, and I was ruined. Just that patience of a few seconds to see what happens can completely change the game. Go on, Ludes, what do you
Definitely
can
helps
say?
me see the floor.
Yeah, so I was going to say that's why I really agree with something that DBG said the other day, that the reason clutch time is just such a miserable experience this year is because this game is not built for 14-second shot clocks. Like, it's absolutely not. You have to have patience, and you cannot have patience inherently in the design of clutch time. So it makes the mode just a miserable experience, just full of paint mashing and rim running, because that's basically all you have time for. Unfortunately, like, you can't let things develop. You can't do anything that would be constituted as real basketball, quote unquote, in clutch time, because the combination of CPU difficulty and the 14-second shot clock just makes it a miserable experience. And if there's anything that I want to accomplish with my role in this podcast, it is nerfing CPU difficulty, because I am so tired.
Yes.
Every single time I talk about it, there is some little sweat lord that comes in my chat and he's like, look at this bum, can't even beat all-star difficulty. No, I can. I just don't want to sit there and spam backdoor cuts.
Ludes, do you know why this really obvious, mind-numbingly obvious point that you make week after week after week on this podcast isn't happening? Do you know why? Because I do.
No. I mean, it'll probably break
because
the game.
People won't shut up about moments, guys.
Yes, transition time. Let's go.
Seriously, like,
Segues.
What are we doing? I can't believe we just did this for another week.
Yeah. I
What
wish we
are we
could
doing?
all get together and have like a kind of like a United Nations type beat, but over my team. Just so
I'll
we
People
could
get
all
very
talk.
angry. People get very angry when you.
I'll
say
come on
that
behalf
you
of
know.
New York, of course.
I mean, I wasn't gonna do it regionally, but like, I mean, sure, why not? I suppose. But I just wish that we could stop. I mean, look, I really would like moments to enter the game for sure, because I like playing with super random players. Like, everyone was mad about Matt Ryan the other day. Sure, why not, dude? I would like to play with the random white
Splash
guys.
one Twitter
100%.
with this tweet. Splash one Twitter with this tweet. Are we
Look.
really mad about not getting a Matt Ryan cut?
There's no one that likes a random dude like more than I do, for sure. That sounded weird. But like, at the same time, I don't really care that much. I just need them to fix the CPU difficulty, because it's like, it's a huge barrier of entry for sure. Because like, you jump on
It's
and you play like
massive.
50 games of triple threat, and you're like, yeah, you know what, I'm kind of a baller, dude. And then you get all-star triple threat, and then you get smacked by the CPU because they're shooting 85% and getting all the rebounds, and you're like, man, I have to actually like try super hard against this CPU. That is not a fun time. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to like, you know, Fort Minor lyrics, dude. Try hard. You know, I'm not trying to play in like a full Under Armour fit, dude, and go hard every single game. Like, I'm not, dude.
Ludes, I said this last pod, man. If you want to see what comp is, look at the AI. They got half interceptor, half menace, half clamps, half beat your butt. Period.
Question.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God, I'm muting myself like an idiot. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
I was waiting for the
That
Josh
was-
moment this week. There it was.
I have a question. Do you think like I be like, when I play the CPU, like especially in higher difficulties, they do things like, you guard it on ball, they'll do things to get open, and it's like, what the F?
They
Do you
adapt
think
it.
if we tried to copy the ways the CPU score, that we would have the same success?
No, absolutely not. No,
Yes.
those are robots.
JD does it every day on stream.
What do you mean? I mean, he sends backdoor cuts that doesn't count.
JD is the CPU dude. I played him today. I literally felt like I was playing the CPU.
Yeah,
on
but
off.
like, you know, the CPU doesn't just sprint up court and look for, like, they take their time. You know, they'll actually hit you with a little move, and somehow certain animations triggered, and you're like, wait, what? Like,
Offensively, I think yes. I think if you copy the CPU offensively and learn things, yeah. But defensively, no, they're actually just doing things that like I don't think it's possible for you to do. For the most
I
part.
mean, the
Like,
continuous 80%, it's just nonsense. Yeah, it is nonsense. Right, I wanna make sure we cover. I want to nuke the moments conversation in this podcast. I've never really had an agenda coming into a podcast, but I did today. Right, listen,
I love it.
listen.
Love to see you
6 weeks
fired up.
ago, 6 weeks ago, this made sense. We needed cheap, viable, grindable cards because there wasn't any cheap, viable cards. Guys, there are cheap, viable cards.
Inherently, look, inherently, the argument is still there. We just need smaller grinds, as Kevin was saying earlier, for people who are just getting into the mode, especially with Black Friday coming up. A lot of new people are going to be swamping the mode. We just need some not only like low time, but like visually, we need some like a grind that you can look at and be like, yes, I can do that. Like Brunson or Keldon Johnson, those were grinds you can look at and be like, yeah, I could get that done for sure. I know it, I say it every week, but like I feel like people still do not heed my words. Yes, in theory, as us with 2K brain can look at like Nate Archibald and be like, oh yeah, I can do that in an hour if I just spam the same concept. But like we need stuff that looks like it's viable to be done in an afternoon. But at the same time, I think people are kind of caping over these moments in ways that aren't really effective and aren't really for the reasons we actually need them.
You know the issue. Everything you just said is correct, right? It would be
It's
great
a battle.
to have.
It's a battle cry that it's like you don't have to explain yourself. You just have to yell about moments. That's what.
Let me explain why it no longer makes sense. Yeah, I 100% agree. Moments are good. They're a good thing in the game. I'm not going to say they're not. I 100% agree. We need cards on the way to centerpieces purely to stop the centerpiece grinds being so mind-numbing. I actually think that's the main reason.
Yes.
But this, I feel like every week I kill this argument dead, and then we go a day without a moments card, and it just starts again. Guys, if you're saying to me, you need something that you can grind. Let's take Kelly Oubre from this week, right? Let's say he was a moments card, and you could get him in an hour of grinding. Yeah, everyone would be happy. All moments fanboys would be happy. Yes.
100%.
Reality check. If you play this game for an hour, you will get 1,500 MT. Go buy the card.
It's different though. It's a mental thing. I swear. It's just because
let me tell you the difference. The difference is you can do it by playing whatever mode you want to play with whatever cards you want to play. Generate the MT. Have fun instead of trying to get a block with Jalen Brunson. What is the difference? Someone explain it to me.
So I think it all stems from one thing and one thing only. And this may be a little like out there, but I think a lot of these conversations really stem from the fact that if we're being honest, it's not really possible to play this game for fun anymore. Like, let's be real. It's really not. Like, it's the way we used to play, and that's why people fawn over like 2K16, 2K17 is because people used to literally play that game just for fun. Nobody grinded it like that. There was obviously some sweat lords here and there, but people weren't making it their entire reason for living like they do with 2K now. And I think a lot of these conversations really stem from the fact that you really just can't hop on MyTeam at this current moment with the player base being the way that it is and just play this game for fun for too long before you start to get tired of it. So I think people are supplanting that by asking for these little grinds so they can feel a sense of accomplishment and maybe feel like they have a reason to actually play this game. That's my thought on it. And I kind of feel that too.
I feel like it's a specific part of the community that played a role in that and why it's not fun anymore. It's like dudes, like back to the trophy case grind card. A lot of people redeemed Derrick Rose, and I'm probably pretty sure no one even really was a fan of Rose. I could be wrong about that. They weren't even a fan of Rose or even thought he was going to be good. But because the dudes who are good at the game said, we're going to, this card is the best card in the game, they went and ran with that. But then my whole thing is
it was because of his 22 card. That's why I got him.
That's why you got
on this card.
Yeah, I'm a Bulls fan, so I got him.
So yeah, see, like reasons like that. That is all fine. But some dudes are really getting cards and redeeming cards that they're not even gonna have fun with, but because they want to be the best, because the best player said that. When it's like you're taking away the fun out of MyTeam for yourself now, because like now you're just constantly playing catch up to get these new cards every freaking week. When you don't need to do that. You don't need, like, if that's not fun for you, don't get the cards. Like, bro, everybody, you know how much people clowned me for getting Jeremy Lin? You know how many people clowned me for getting Jeremy Lin?
I was gassing you when you got Jeremy Lin, because Jeremy Lin was my boy since 20.
Yeah, I love the fact that he is in the game again. Like, I love that. But a lot of people, they just follow what they hear, and it's just like, bro, the reason you're not having fun anymore is because you may not realize it. You're trying to keep up with these comp dudes when you're probably not even trying to be comp yourself. Like,
I mean, there are grinders who, like, CP is a grinder who enjoys grinding the game. You know, Most is that guy. There's people out there that genuinely enjoy the grind. They have the time for it. They're enthusiastic about it. You know, it's interesting because DBG's been doing these like Pokemon videos recently, right? And it is that. There are some people who kind of grew up on card collecting as an ideal, whether it was trading cards or whatever. You know, when I was a kid, I collected football stickers. I just showed my age so badly. Anyway, let's move on.
You have a whole collection behind you. Look.
I collect Funko.
I got my collection right behind me too.
I collect VHS tapes. Does that count?
I think for some people it is a grind. And Luz, there's one thing I just. Oh yeah, he has actually got. Is that a Pokemon? Is it? I don't really know anything about it.
Who, me?
Charizard. Oh, come on, man. Come on.
that
Look at
look clean.
Look at that. Yes, sir.
Laminated
like-
too.
I thought you were
Hey,
talking to
man.
me. I was like, this is the Sopranos on VHS box set. This is not a Pokemon. Like, this is a Keith Van Horn action figure. Like,
That
you're
was a
wrong on all
top 10
counts.
Luz moment. That was a W.
I
Right.
just want to say I envy you guys' background, by the way. I just off the record, you know what I'm saying?
There's no way you
Love
envy
it.
this. There's no way you envy this.
No, I didn't see it.
The weekly hole in the wall.
you gotta sneak one in every week, man. I gotta sneak one in every week.
Yeah.
We've
the one
talked
thing-
about this before. It would be great if it just enlarged by like an inch or two every single week
I can't do
until you
that.
eventually had no wall.
I would have no home if I did that.
You literally work in like construction now. You still haven't fixed the hole in your wall.
You know
right?
what's crazy?
You don't take your work home.
That's not something I know how to fix it, but when I've done something similar to fix that, it's like the tools. I don't even have the tools I need to fix it anymore.
That sounds
I
like
really
an
don't
excuse.
even be bothered.
That sounds like an
No.
excuse. All right, back to 2K. To say the game's not enjoyable, I think there's huge swathes of it that aren't enjoyable. I'm just gonna be honest, like it's just not enjoyable. I don't really enjoy like anything that I have to do, which is like too specific. I don't enjoy it, right? Whether it's getting a specific amount of rebounds or assists.
I would like to specify when I say that it has nothing to do with the actual game itself.
Yeah.
It's just overall the player base that you're dealing with now is just like not the same as the player base you were dealing with in 2K17 because
That's
there's been
true.
money introduced into the game. I mean, that's realistically what it is.
I think the
Nobody
two things
plays
that
this
are
game
fun, though.
for 3 hours a week for fun anymore. You know, people used to hop on MyTeam and just like play a few games, have fun, and then like get off. Like that doesn't exist anymore for a lot of people.
It
and
does
those
though.
people-
It does. It does. I've done it this week. Like unlimited
True.
for some people is
I
fun,
don't
some people
know.
it's not. But TTO co-op, come on, man.
Yeah,
it's,
TTO
it's
co-op
a
is great.
vibe. Everyone enjoys TTO. co-op.
No, TTO, there are aspects of this game that are still fun, but I just feel
Yeah.
like overall the point of the mode in general has
Yes.
gone from like a fun pastime to a serious esport in the past like 3 or 4 years. That's what I'm
Yeah.
getting
You
at.
know what happened 3-4 years ago?
The 250K tournament.
There it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There it goes.
Yep, that's
And
it.
I don't even want to put it on a tournament. I think it's just more so of like the mindset people
No,
have.
when you introduce prize money of that magnitude into a game, like it's going to naturally turn at least a cross section of the player base into people who take it a lot serious. I mean, it's not really surprising by any means. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but it just makes sense as to why people react to things the way they do now. I guess it's more just like a kind of explainer as to why people are the way they are now.
I think, like, you know, the point that where we started this conversation on, that is the you know, the nail on the head. It's like moments cards have become the sort of drum that people bang because
Yes.
either they don't want to or can't grind the game.
Yes.
And I want to make sure the point doesn't get lost in this, right? Like, the problem with the moments fiasco, because that's what it is right now, is it's really distracting from real solutions. That's my issue with it at the moment. Like, it is really starting to distract from key issues that are affecting things like casuals, like you said, things like CPU difficulty. Like, I think the moments thing just needs to go. I think it's done. I think we've had that moment. I think it made sense to an extent when it started. Like I said, you know, you can pick up those moments cards for 1,500 MT right now in the auction house. Just go get them and let's switch the conversation to the things that actually need to be addressed, because there are things that need to be addressed in this game. CPU difficulty is one, post defense is one. There are issues in this game. Like, there are issues. And the more we bang on about moments, the more we're going to distract from the things that will actually help casuals and new players come into this game and stay in this game, which are major issues like CPU difficulty. Kevin, I want to ask you directly, like, you're relatively new to MyTeam. Would moments be the deciding factor on whether you continue to play this game or not?
No, they're not. But they were game changing for me last year when they had the moments of the month cards.
Yeah.
Because I came in new and I was able to build a lineup based on those moments of the month's cards. I think the first one was DeRozan. I mean, yeah, I had to run with the Montes Sabonis and whatnot. But at the time, it was a different point of the game cycle, right? New guys who got the game during Christmas, they needed something to grind that was rewarding. And at the time, I think that was perfect. I do appreciate Ludes liking these random cards, and I get that people get, but for me, if I see Jalen Brunson, I'm not gonna bother. So for me, Jalen Brunson might not be the card that I wanted at the time, but I can see the point where the grind, where some small grind like that can be rewarding. But for me, I'm not gonna use Jalen Brunson in my lineup, so it doesn't really affect me. But when I jumped in my team in 22, the moments of the month cards were big for me, and I got Jason Tatum the second month, or was it
that
Devin
was a
Booker?
hell of a grind though. That Tatum.
But
Like,
it
that was not a quick Brunson grind. That was
Yes,
almost
no, I had
trophy
issues
case
with
level.
that one for sure, but there was a lot of players that you received.
You got
on
a lot
the
of- that's
way,
the
too,
thing.
and I think
That
that's the big key.
Yeah,
That's
like,
what-
not many players was good. It was good.
And I feel like that's kind of the main thing that people are not understanding is it doesn't necessarily have to be moments. Like I don't care about Matt Ryan from the Lakers. Like I don't care about some random white dude. Like I don't care, right? I don't want to hoop with somebody who looks like me with no facial hair. Like I don't care at all, right? It really comes down to the fact that there just needs to be steps on the way to the larger grind where you get cards. And I think another thing is like Kevin said just now, he doesn't care about Jalen Brunson. I feel like content creators, and I'm guilty of this too. We inject
one
our
more
own
person say they don't care
personality.
about Jalen Brunson, we're gonna have an
Like
issue.
I feel like we inject our own like biases and personality onto casuals that don't exist. They're like straw men.
yes.
You know that like they don't actually exist. We just like made these people up to like be
Apparently
mad about
they
something
hide
that
on
we're mad
YouTube
about.
and they don't have any social media. I have not got this since the start. I've really struggled with this concept since the start. And I'm actually at a point where I'm annoyed that I have to discuss it every week. Like that's why I'm trying to nuke it so we just don't end up here again next week talking about the fact that there's no moments cards. And the fact that they did it for like a few days and then stopped doing it. It took 2 hours for that moments card not to drop. And it's like it never happened. Like
See,
we were
Jazz, that's-
straight back to square one.
But here's the thing about a certain percentage of the community, and I may get cooked for this, maybe not. Maybe y'all agree with me.
Oh no,
but
I got your back. Go ahead.
no matter what happens, whether it's moments or another thing or whatnot, there's going to be a certain percentage of this community that's going to bicker, fight, and argue every single week. That's just their MO about
It's inevitable.
the game. It's inevitable. Exactly, CP. And,
Have y'all been
and
seeing the Twitter drama, man?
yeah,
Like, every day is something.
Yeah.
yeah.
Every
we have a
day.
whole
Like
group chat.
what like like
I mean,
If we get something, people argue. If we don't get something, people argue. Like there's
Mhm.
always something.
I am being a bit of a
Always
hypocrite because it does give us content every week.
it
So-
does.
On that perspective, do your thing.
Yeah, but I mean, it only gives us content for like me to argue with you and Josh, really.
But someone came at me
Yeah.
this week on Twitter. Did you see it?
Mm-mm.
About not being tough enough on AFK.
Oh man,
Oh, I did see
can
that.
we just get
Yeah.
dude? Okay, look, we talked about the straw man thing about how content creators invent these fake straw men over casuals. Okay, I stand firm on this until I see proof from any of you people on Twitter about playing 6 AFK guys in a row. Like, I'm not trying to hear it, dude, because I'm pretty sure that this is made up for the most part. Because I played quite a bit. I know a lot of people who have played quite a bit. And, people maybe run into like 4 AFK people a month at the absolute maximum that play unlimited consistently. I just feel like the amount of AFKs that I'm seeing on Twitter, not very many of them are real. That's just how I feel.
I only
I
ran into
haven't played a
AFK.
single one.
No, I only ran into 2 my whole time since
I've
this
had
game.
one this
2
season.
for me. But I think, as Ludez said it last pod, man, a lot of people be over exaggerating the number of AFKs they actually see. It's not like that.
It's not that big. It's just annoying. It just like honestly, when you run into AFK, how you feel about it, it literally just depends on that specific moment. Like
You can just
I'm trying to
dashboard.
go to
It won't
bed,
even
right.
hurt your hobby. Or like,
Yeah,
it won't
like,
even hurt
if-
your record.
yeah, if I'm
I'm not even
trying
upset.
to play, if I'm trying to go to sleep and let's say I'm trying to get through a game quickly, right then and there, I'm gonna be annoyed that I ran into
Yeah.
somebody AFK because it's like now I gotta stay up longer. I'm tired. I don't want to play the CPU if I want to. That I understand. But if it's just like you trying to grind unlimited, you just trying to collect wins, ain't really pressured on time. You're like AFK. I'm about to bomb some threes.
Oh yeah, I'm
like
getting some
Joshua.
XP done, dog.
Hey,
It is
KillaJosh,
relative.
man, how can you be mad about, and I ain't saying this for you, but just in general, man, how can you be mad about a free win, a free dub? Come on, KillaJosh, man. Heck no. I
mean,
love
if
it.
If you have a 90% win percentage, I could see why you'd hate AFK because you're gonna
Oh,
win
yeah.
against regular people anyway.
I mean,
But
true.
like, at the same time, I mean, you maybe have to deal with it a couple times per month, maybe.
It's just the level that people there's being passionate and then there's being obsessed with an issue. Like
Mhm.
there's times where I find it annoying. There's times where I don't really care because I'm a normal, balanced human being. People saying you're not being tough enough on AFK. What does that even mean? What do I need to
Slam
do?
your iron
Like,
fist down.
what do you
on
want me to do?
AFK.
Do you want me to hunt down every single person that's ever AFK'd and like bring them to the town square and flog them?
I've
Like,
actually
what do you
got
want
rage
from me?
until I turn red, pop a blood vessel. Does that satisfy your need?
Yeah, what do you want me to go
That's
equalizer
funny.
on them? You want me to turn into Denzel, hunt them down?
Yeah,
Like,
just
Liam
taking the
Neeson?
movie about AFK. Yeah, like what are we doing?
Yeah, like I just drag them out of their basement or wherever they are and be like, "Where are you remote playing at? Tell me right now."
Ludes, I got to tell you this right now. My daughter's behind me. She said she wants your autograph because you look like Star-Lord, bruh.
Oh man, he does.
I've been getting a lot. Somebody
Yeah,
told me
Brian
it's like
Pratt
Clay
really
Thompson's
played
brother
Star-Lord.
the other day.
He looks like what? Chris Pratt? That's what you said.
Chris Pratt, man.
Ah.
Peter Quill.
I am massive.
How's the Mario movie coming?
Statement.
Uh,
Yeah.
guys, I think speaking of like strong takes, I don't think we're going to get through this podcast without unscathed, without mentioning the servers went down this week. Anyone
Yeah.
want to?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
shoot. I almost
Man.
I didn't forget it happened. I almost forgot we didn't mention it.
Honestly,
Yeah.
for me, it happens like 4 times a year, so I don't even care. I really don't.
I was
it just
at work.
happens. I also feel like people fearmonger on Twitter really hard about the fact that
Yes.
cards go for really cheap. Because then I finally get on the servers yesterday, and this is like 5 minutes after I'm seeing tweets about how 15 Hoff cards are going for 200K, which I'm sure that did happen here and there. But then I get on and I'm looking at the prices of all the cards, and like I'm on when no one else can get on at this point, right? I'm on about 2 minutes after 10 o'clock. No one's able to get on.
Yeah, there was
Cards
a
are
long
going
period,
for
though, dude, where a lot
cards
of
are
cards
maybe
have
going for
expired.
100K less than they were before. I'm looking at John Wall. He's still 400K. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe I can turn 100K profit. But I mean, the fact is, like, people are feverishly refreshing their consoles. Like, they're going to pop a blood vessel. They're probably
Yeah,
punching
that's
holes in
crazy.
their walls.
That's
like,
crazy,
Josh,
David.
Can I tell you
like,
guys
trying to
something?
get on.
Hot take.
What's
I'm
that?
actually happy that happened only because
Oh, God.
last night, the night before, I was supposed to grind XP, finish the nightmare set. I didn't finish it, but because the servers were down, they gave me an extra, like, I think I had like an extra 7 hours yesterday. And when it was still going on when the packs dropped, I was at work. So by the time I came home, everything was good. So I was like, hey man, it worked out for me. I got some
Nah,
XP
Josh,
out of
I'm
it.
not gonna lie. I was pretty relieved too because I was gonna record a video, but I was dead tired. I had a class at 5 p.m. that usually ends early, ends like 6 or 6:30, but we went all the way until 8. After that,
Man.
I had to go pick my uncle up from the airport, had to do some work. So it was like 11 something. I was gonna come home, spend about 2 hours grinding out this, recording this video. Then the servers were down. So I was like, you know what? This is an excellent opportunity for me to rest. I go, I sleep, and I'm like, you know what? I'll set an alarm for like 3 or 4 so I can wake up.
That's
I wake
wild.
up, servers are still down. I'm like, wow, if I would have just stayed here awake for the last 4 hours, literally nothing would have happened. And didn't servers not even get resolved until like 10 or like
9
11?
hours.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
it
like
took a
that's
long time.
insane. Like, it was a good rest for me. I can't
It was
complain.
definitely a good rest, right?
See,
I think
yeah.
CP's just understood the beauty of sleep, and we're never going to see him get a card again.
I'm finally understanding it.
He's getting
CP,
8
I-
hours every night now.
You know, I know it
CP,
well. I'm a sleep expert, CP. You know what I'm saying? I'm known for sleeping.
Yes,
grind,
you are
so.
known for sleeping at the worst. Expert is
Stands
a
the-
strong word. Uncontrollably falling asleep at the most important times is probably more accurate.
Oh boy.
Yo, Matt, what were you saying? I'm interested to see where you were going with this.
Yeah.
Who?
Matt.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
yeah. What I was going to say was this. I felt like everybody treated it like it was the end of the world. I mean, if you are going to post up crazy 15, 20 off cards at that time of the morning, because I was up that morning when the servers
what I
broke,
was
you
saying.
crazy.
Yes. Why are you
Crazy.
putting them up at 1 a.m.? What is wrong with you?
Guys, the
crazy for
servers
that.
came back on at one point, and the same
It
people
did.
who were complaining then bought VC, and then the servers went down again.
That
Why
is
are
just
you
not a
buying
good move.
VC 30 seconds after the server came back on? Like, do you not see an issue with that? Like, is there no foresight to go, hey, it might not be quite ready yet. I can see everything. Doesn't mean I should engage with everything.
Like, based
Right.
on prior 2K experience, you should know, like, you
Yeah.
very well could have gotten into my team as a complete fluke. Like, you've been refreshing 20
Mhm.
straight times,
Yeah.
you finally get in, you try to load into a game, you get kicked out again. Like, this is just experience. I know people love to overuse the term, oh, that's just 2K, but it really is just 2K.
Yeah.
Right. CP, and that's what, like, with the servers being there, I'm not gonna lie to you, I kind of enjoyed it as well because I chilled that morning with the fam. I had breakfast. It was just a relaxed, I didn't have no pressure. Even I was gonna put on the stream to pull the Pioneer packs anyways, but I didn't even have no added pressure to do that. It was just a great morning to not worry about 2K. You know what I'm saying? Just and I love 2K. I poured my heart, soul, and everything into this. But just to take a break, like to take a real break, felt refreshing. I also want to add to it. I do understand if you did have a high tier card, that was tough. Yeah. Okay,
oh, no,
I
feel
like on the other flip side, I feel like if that is the case, if the servers are shut down, then shut down the auction house. I get both sides of the spectrum, but a lot of people over exaggerate.
They should freeze the auction.
They should
house.
freeze the auction. I think that's something they should do.
But I mean, that people use that for content, so it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want that point to get lost in it. Like, I don't want this to come across like, we just don't care or whatever. Like, there is a problem. Like, I know you're saying that, you got on at one point and it looked relatively normal, but over the space of 9 hours, there is a ton of cards that would have sold for way under their value. And that is,
but I mean, if you take a game serious, I mean, if you take a video game serious, I mean, you have to accept the fact that at some point there's going to be connection issues. There's going to be issues with the servers. I mean, there's no game that's never had server issues. I mean, Call of Duty, every single year Call of Duty launches to horrendous servers. Like, it happens every year. Like, what's going on, dude. Eventually it's gonna happen. And we've all like everyone's been saying, we've all played 2K for a long enough period of time. Like, we know it's gonna happen at some point. It's inevitable. Like,
this conversation feels really jarring that I'm kind of saying that it's rubbish and you're saying it just happens. I mean, we've come a long way, Ludes.
Like... No, I mean, I've always been like this towards like server issues. I mean, like, people think 2K in general and like the dev team are some omnipotent creatures that like are able to control things that like they definitely can't. And the servers blowing up randomly, like, that's going to happen at any studio at any time. It's always like in the back of your mind. So if you play a video game a long enough time, like, for a fact at some point they're going to have server issues. Every video game that I play consistently has server issues. Look, I spend majority of my time playing PUBG, which consistently doesn't work. All right. Like, that game never works ever.
Yeah.
Every time they patch it, they break 18 new things. So I think it's like, that's probably why I look on 2K with like less angry eyes about these things.
It is a lot of the time out of their control. Like, I ran a GTA roleplay server last year. Like, I owned it. I ran it. I was working on it. And, there are times where your hosts will just go down. It's completely beyond your control. These things do happen. They do. What I do think, though, is that I've seen them do this before, is that they've offered some level of compensation at times like this, where they'll throw up a locker code or whatever. And,
make right.
Yeah, I think in this instance, it was long enough for them to throw something out there.
I think when they extended, I thought that was a huge W, because I feel like normally I don't think they would have done that, but I think 2K extending the grinds that would have been missed within that hour. Within those hours, I thought that was a huge W. So I do want to.
They also acknowledged it on Twitter, which is something I don't think I've ever seen them.
No, I don't think they've ever done that before. That we were talking about that.
I said, like, they're doing a lot of things, taking steps in the right directions. There's obviously more steps they need to take, but I will say this year I'm noticing that they're definitely starting to take steps in the positive direction. I think they
really have.
They're trying to.
Let's not gas up acknowledging a server outage on Twitter.
It's not just that. It's other things too. Like I said, like the whole player base. Like, when they start off the year with rewarding grinding players, because other years everyone's like, oh, it's just pay to win. So I'm saying, like, just one of few things that they've been doing, taking steps in the right direction.
I want to talk about that too, because I feel like a lot of people are saying that as well. They're like, this is the first year they rewarded grinding players. I don't think that's true, because in the early 2K20, like, the best cards in the game were grinded cards as well. You had those spotlights. The token players were leaps and bounds significantly better than anything that was dropping in packs at that point. Yeah, Murasan was ridiculous, but even when you get up to like the opals at that point, I mean, like, I forgot who the first wave of them were. I think Grant Hill was one of them, but like, I feel like the grinding cards were so much not better than they are now in 2K, but I feel like we've gone down this road with 2K before, so I don't think it's like the first time they've ever done that. But
I think they'll do it every year now as well. I think it makes sense, bro. I think early in the game, get people hooked on it, get people into a routine, because that's really what this is about. It's about getting people like to automatically start doing things, right? You get home, you immediately log on, you grind for centerpieces, you turn it off, and you just rinse and repeat. There is no decision making. There's no like, do I want to play unlimited right now, or do I want to play clutch time right now? It becomes automatic. So they're breeding habits which are going to, pay off later in the game for them at the end of the day. And I think, the casuals are coming soon. The cavalry is coming. Yeah. They're going to be here in 4 weeks.
And I think it's good
are going to be flooded. Yeah.
I think it's smart that they get the hardcore grinders hooked in early. Because if the hardcore grinders are not hooked early, you really don't have much. Because like that's majority of the game. Really, when it starts, like the hardcore grinders and dudes who will play this game, and then you want to like make sure like, all right, we got them in. Now we could worry about bringing in the casuals. So I think that is kind of like a smart approach. But I feel like if they just make some tweaks, like Luz always says, the CPU difficulty, so that when the casuals do come, not only do they come, but they stay. I think then we'll be in a good space.
You can't control the online population. Like if online people are going to sweat, you're not going to be able to control that as a developer. But what you can control is how fun and how enjoyable it is to play against the CPU in an offline aspect. Right. I think that's kind of what they need to.
I really want to make sure this doesn't get lost. Yeah, like just really, really make sure this doesn't get lost. CPU difficulty and grindable cards along the way to centerpieces are better solutions than moments cards. I just want that to land at the end of this podcast.
Yes.
I just think it's so important we stop banging that drum. I'm not saying the game's perfect, but let's find a new drum to bang because it makes sense. Anyway,
it'd be different if we were talking about throwback moments. Like if we were talking about we need throwback moments in the game, I would be like, yeah, of course, dude. I would love to use like some random dude from 1967 that dropped 30 points. Of course, absolutely.
I mean, but even normal moments cards, dude. I'm all for it if they drop them. The phrase moments cards are going to save the game is nuts.
It's not. Yeah, I get you saying that.
It's a little God complexy for sure. But...
Save the game is wild. That is wild. Guys, we need to wrap. Like we've done 2 hours, which this definitely feels like the quickest 2 hours we've ever done. But there's one really important thing we didn't talk about, and I want to make sure we cover it. I'd like to hear everyone's opinion. I want to start with Kevin, actually. I want to see where his temptation's at with this. They dropped a $50 guaranteed Pink Diamond Kareem. Kevin, is there any part of you that makes you go, I'm new to the game, $50 will get me a massive head start, get me a center?
Absolutely not. Mostly because it's still too early. This Kareem will be, I don't know, maybe a really good card for like a month, maybe. What was more tempting for me last year was those deluxe box topper sets. When you get 20 packs and then James Harden, Lonzo Ball, because then you get 20 packs and then you got a guaranteed opal. This one doesn't seem too big of a bargain unless you really want Kareem to lock in for Tim Thomas. That's just the economist in me knowing that, the return to this isn't big if I'm not getting Tim Thomas. But the James Harden, Lonzo Ball deluxe set with 20 packs, and then you get the free opal. That was more tempting for me because I love Lonzo Ball. Last year I was about to hop into that, but it took so much willpower not to get it. This Kareem, not so much, just because I think we're at the stage where things are going to shift, and it doesn't really make sense to invest that much just for one card for me, unless you're going to get Tim Thomas. That's my opinion.
There's a lot of people in this community that play armchair economist. Yeah, that's a real economist. Telling you not to buy that card. So there you go. We have it from a real economist for the first time. CP, Kareem, tempted or not?
Personally for me, I don't have a normal account and no money spent account. I literally do all no money spent stuff on one account. So like I'm not getting this Kareem. I understand a bit of alert of getting him. I mean, $50 and you get a guaranteed pink diamond. I mean, there's plenty of people who've spent hundreds of dollars, done pack openings, and haven't even gotten like a diamond. So
thousands.
I understand the temptation. Like plenty of people have terrible pack odds, and if you spend 50, you get this Kareem. I wouldn't do it. And I think an interesting thing that we got to bring up is that this is unlimited. You can get as many Kareems as you want to per $50, but I think getting more than one is asinine.
Yeah, I agree. Josh, where you at with it?
I thought about it. Only way I really would have got him is if out of my pack opening, if I'd have pulled DeMar DeRozan, I would have got that Kareem. That's the only way I would have got it.
Yeah.
But other than that,
that's fair.
At that point, it maybe does make sense. Lutz, I know you got some strong opinions on this.
Yeah. So I understand kind of both sides, I guess. Like I understand a lot of people were kind of, I don't want to say gassing it up, but I mean, that's kind of the best way to describe it because and they're coming from a place of gambling bad, right? Like, oh, okay, at least if I spend $50 this way, I'm guaranteed to get the card. And I understand that. But at the same point, I just feel like it's a little bit, I think 50 is a little too much. Like, I wouldn't have been mad if they did this for 25. I mean, even then, I still think it's a little high, but still, it's a more reasonable price. I just think $50 US is kind of a lot. And for a pink diamond period, honestly, for a virtual card that'll disappear in a year regardless is too much, right? If I'm being honest. But
Yeah.
I feel like, and then there was other people that are using this as like a conversion service to kind of just exchange cash for MT, because a lot of people would do this. They'd pay 50 for Kareem and then they put Kareem straight up on the market. I saw a lot of that happening.
Which is a very underrated point considering their obvious motive behind this.
Their obvious motive behind this would be to get rid of illicit services that provide the currency.
And it will work.
It will work
over
to a certain extent, but I will say the only way it's really effectively going to work is if they lower the price on these. But then what's going to happen is it's going to crash the value on the card itself. So it's really tough to say. I personally prefer it when it was last year and it was the guaranteed box topper, because you at least got 20 packs additionally, so you can kind of do a little bit of both personally.
That's what Kevin said.
Though I think it was a little bit too pricey last year also. Because what was it, like $70 or something it ended up being? It was like kind of ridiculous.
It was insane.
Yeah, it was quite a bit. It was more than that. I want to say it was like 300,000 BC or something. But like regardless, I think it's, I don't know. I wish it was a little bit less monetary wise. Like if it was cheaper, I think I'd be a little bit more prone to possibly doing it. And
do you think it's a step in the right direction? Do you believe? Do you agree?
I think if they continue to kind of listen to the feedback, which I haven't really seen anybody critique it necessarily, which I think is kind of not good. I think if it's a step in the right direction, like if this is a leapfrog to a better system, I think I'll be more okay with it.
Yeah, it's whether that final step happens.
Whether is it going to stay exactly like this, or is it going to be used as a leapfrog into a better system that I think is more financially beneficial to the player base in general, I think is the real key for me. Anyway.
All right, Mojo, let's go. What's your thoughts?
I'm in a conflicted spot because everybody knows how much I love packs, and I don't care if it's VC or pulling MT singles. I'll pull. Guys, let me tell you something.
You don't even need this.
I listen. Let me tell you a story. All right. First and foremost, let me address this. Not everybody has $50. There's people out here struggling to even, get the little bit of VC or MT they get just by grinding. It's hard out here. I want to address this.
That's a really understated point that people forget a lot of the time, that people don't have the money for this. So it's
that's why people yell at me all the time, because that's all I ever talk about.
Yeah.
I pull packs for a reason. And I want to say this, and I want to be very, very clear. There's people that watch me do pack openings because they want to live vicariously through me, because they know they're not able to get that. And also, not just that, but it's fun. But it's not fun when one singular card costs a $20. 198,000 VC is crazy. I'm not criticizing anyone or 2K or anything, but a lot of people can't afford the 50. Now, 98,000 or 99,000, that would be feasible, maybe. But for a hop badge, catch and shoot, which you can easily grind for in one of the moments of the week, which, by the way, is a huge dub, or anything else through Unlimited or any of these other game modes, 198,000 is just too much. Kareem right now in the auction house is going for what, 300K-ish? I think I sold a Kareem yesterday for that. But the story I want to tell is this. I was pulling packs yesterday on stream, and I couldn't pull a thing. The very first pink diamond that I did get was when I got the coin and got Kareem out the 198,000 VC pack. Now, here's the deal, guys. 4 packs later, and if you think I'm lying, then I'm flying. Okay, go watch the tape.
No, I saw it.
I pulled Kareem immediately right after it, and you know what? I was low-key tight about it. I was sick, y'all, because I said to myself, if I had pulled that Kareem first, I wouldn't have bought the pack. Let's be honest. Yeah. And then later on, not too much later, but I pulled DeMar, the first of 4 DeMars, that is. Anyway,
that was wild.
Brag in the middle.
That was wild.
Yeah, you got some people punching the air right now.
Right now, they're mad, bro. They're hot, and I don't mean, and on that subject, I don't mean to make anybody hot. I want pulling packs, I want to make it, me personally, want to make it enjoyable again. But in order for us to make it this an enjoyable, again, an enjoyable experience, we have to make it, we have to meet people at their levels. 2K must meet people at their levels. Everybody doesn't have the money to pay 15,000 VC for original owner card to evo them from ruby to diamond. Everybody doesn't have that from week to week to week. There's people out here struggling for real, and I'm sorry for coming in a realistic aspect. There's people struggling right here in this world today, and that play 2K, and they just can't afford. They depend on the grind. CP and I, we're grinders. They depend on watching this grind because it makes it's really fun to see, and also it makes them know that, hey, we can do this too without spending a dime. No money spent is killing. Hey, say that again.
It's motivating.
It's motivating,
It is,
exactly.
I love seeing people in my comments saying, like, you made me realize I can get a team like this with no money, or you're motivating me to play the game. Like, that makes me feel amazing.
Exactly. And I'm hella money spent, man.
Guys too, because you're getting people to play their game, so they should be backing it too.
Yeah, you know that, and you gotta value that. And I'm like, again, I'm hella money spent. I'm all money spent, guys. And I'm even if I wasn't, I cherish the grind. You know, you can put everything aside. There's people out here right now that play this game, that is watching all of us right now, watching me right now, that can't afford certain things, and that kind of is off-putting. It really is. Lower these VC prices. I'm going to say it again, lower these VC prices for those that really can afford, that really can't, and that depend on just the grind. And then maybe, just maybe, we can make it even more enjoyable to pull packs once again, in my opinion. That's just me, y'all. That's just me.
I mean, I've said it too. Lowering the VC prices will stop to curb a lot of issues that are in this game currently, including illicit
stuff.
marketplaces.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Matt,
Not
how
just
many?
my team, but with my career too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
My
Everything
friends are
improves
telling me make a
dramatically.
player. I refuse to make one because I'm not about to. I don't want to spend, because I heard how it's expensive to upgrade a player this year. I'm not about to spend that much money on this game to make a player, and it's not even like I'm maxed out.
It
I'm
is,
like,
but it's not compared to like MyTeam price points. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
It
crazy.
costs about $100, I think, is what it came out.
No.
as
They
from
said
what
it's
I've
more.
seen.
$100 only gets
It's
you to like a 70 something. You need like probably 200, around 300.
If you get a
Also-
logo, they get you a free build. So just do that. It's probably the easy way.
Just get a logo.
I don't want that target on my back.
Yeah,
I don't
as
want that
coming
target
from
on my back.
Oh no.
coming from someone who's had 4 logos, you know, totally, it's that easy. Just do it.
Matt, I got a final question. I'm gonna wrap because we've I don't know how I think we broke the record again. I think it's like this is literally the 9th week and the 9th time we've gone over.
It's been a dub.
Matt, how
been a
many
dub.
pink diamonds do you have?
Okay, so
How many have you
right
pulled?
now I just pulled. Guys, if you think I'm lying, go to my Twitter right now. I'm about to post it. I just pulled Kareem, in this podcast. Okay, so right now I'm at 67 pink diamonds, VC
bash
boxes,
my head
Let me
and
again.
just
also
do some
anti-
maths real quick. So if I spend
So-
$3,000 on Kareem packs today,
Okay.
I will have pulled more pink diamonds than you. Yes.
Yes.
Cool. Right. I'm gonna do that later, guys. Have you?
No,
uh,
don't.
have
Don't
you
do
had
that.
fun?
Please don't do that.
That was a
No,
joke, by the
no.
way. To any gremlins who take that too seriously, that was a joke. I'm not spending $3,000 today. You guys had fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, of course.
It's been a W, right? Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it. It's been a super interesting conversation. Perspective wise, I think it's the widest kind of spectrum we've had. Thank you guys for coming on. Like, you know, Kevin, it's been fascinating listening to you. I'm trying to learn more about the simulation stuff. I'm trying to learn more about, you know, how we can play this game for enjoyment and you know, just focus on those mechanics. And it's also been interesting to hear you kind of talk about your new perspective on MyTeam, which again is something we're not going to have for a while. CP, shout out, keep grinding, man. Like that perspective
Always.
is never going to be valuable, and you are motivating. You are 100% for 100% sure. And you know the other 3 guys, you do what you do every week, so we're going to get into it. that's what it is.
All love.
Yeah, all love. All right, guys, that's for me and the guys. We'll catch you on the next one.